Come on, lock in.
Clip unclip, everybody. Clip unclip.
Do you not think
Oh
it's
yeah, clip unclip.
Do you not think it's insane that in the modern society, in the modern world we live in, that people will stream and they won't actually make any content for their streams? They will just have their community clip clips.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? What are you
Twitch
talking
streaming.
about?
I'm talking about Twitch streaming.
What do you mean?
You hate streamers.
You have this thing against streamers.
Well, yeah. Who doesn't? The problem with streaming is always going to be the fact that it's like FOMO content. I don't care. Just upload the thing to your channel.
Yeah, but streams like
Make money. That's why they do it.
no,
That's why
but
it's
watching a stream after it's already happened is boring.
FOMO.
Unless it's a
You got to be
speedrun.
there. It has to be hype enough for people to want to be there.
No, you don't. All the streams I watch, I don't need to be there for.
Well then, yeah, what's wrong then? Why do you
What's
hate
that?
streamers then?
Huh?
Yeah, it sounds like you watch streamers' content.
No, I watched the streams and they've been uploaded to their second YouTube channel. Because I don't have to be there for the stream. The FOMO ass stream, man. But to be fair, in defense of Twitch, there's like a 1 month log of it being just like a VOD. So, you know, I can't complain. Well, the stream I like, he streams like once every 6 months and just takes money.
James won't let me have my gar.
No, come on, we don't need to. You don't need to.
Gar.
You don't need to.
But it's the holidays.
No. Well, if you
Bit
do,
dangerous,
I do.
huh?
If you do, I do.
You want fat?
I don't want fat.
What the fuck?
Lenny over here.
Lenny going full Simpson.
Wait, what cigars are they?
These,
little
the
baby,
smoothies.
don't
What? No, but what are they?
They're called Café de la Creme.
They're called signature
How do you smoke them?
Like a cigar.
You just smoke them. Yeah,
You just go-
You light them on fire and then you breathe, filling your lungs with smoke, or don't. Your choice.
Your move, Spider.
Depends. Will they kill me?
What won't kill you, bro?
The microplastics. You know, the nanobot era is like approaching us.
The Nando's bot.
The
I've got
nanobots.
Nando's
I
in the freezer.
love chicken in my tummy.
Do you know Jamie's still got that chicken in the freezer from last week?
Do you actually?
Yeah, it's in the freezer.
You freezered it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of chicken.
Yeah, I
A
couldn't eat all that
whole
chicken.
lot of chicken.
There's a lot of chicken for a small fella like yours, truly.
But I
Not
had chicken.
yeah,
looking-
small fellow like yours truly.
Hey! Stop!
Okay.
No.
B.I.B. BTB.
What's the idea?
It was B.I.B.
I said it's supposed to be BTB.
What's BTB?
Big titty boy.
Big titty boy. BTB.
Oh wow, this is like making me man. I'm so
B.I.B..
moist right now.
You peed yourself again.
No, Jamie, you spilled my tea
Because
all
you're not
over.
about the
didn't.
gars.
You did.
Okay, run it back. See who truly spilled it.
That's silly. The Jarlings will back me up here.
I'll have a go.
Oh, I won't.
Let's have a celebration of regard.
I'll have a go.
After all that.
Peer pressure in
Hey,
action.
I've not tried
These
a
are
creme de la
delicious.
crop.
Hey, what?
Thank you.
Do you know I need to snipe the ends off?
Nah, these guys
No,
are
they're,
mean.
they're pre...
They're tinny
snipped.
toned.
Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the yearly roundup of Jar Media, where we talk about what we've consumed, what we've done, and the lovely little things of the year,
And our favourite gars.
and our favourite guys. Today, I'm joined by Jamie
Hello.
and Alex.
Howdy. Another year, another bunch of stuff.
A bunch of stuff. Too much stuff, I'd say.
Bunch of things, a bunch of bits.
Yeah.
Too many bits.
Do you remember a time in your life where, like you listened to every album you wanted to listen to? You saw every movie you wanted to see, and you played every game you wanted to play, like that came out.
I remember having that feeling, but I guess that's growing up, realizing that there's so much more than I even know is available. Because during that time you'd be like, what? I was thinking about this the other day. Like we'd see like maybe 3 movies a year.
Yeah,
the cinema or something.
Yeah,
and that was normal.
I only chose 3 movies this year, maybe even 2. Because like I saw Barbie, but I didn't choose to go and see it.
I got that. It does count as going to the cinema, though, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went. But yeah, this for me has been a bit of a catch-up year.
What year isn't, brother?
Well,
what was the last year that didn't feel like a catch-up year, a buffer year?
The year before COVID. 2019.
Yeah.
Would you... So, obviously for the Jarlings who don't know, this is obviously where we just talk about what we've consumed. We're going to talk about...
We talk about good and bad, or
just
highlights.
We do this
highlights.
once a year, so don't expect this as like the format for every episode if you've never listened or watched. But yeah, it's the roundup episode where we go through 4 different categories. I think that's what we agreed. Movies, TV, music, and games. It doesn't necessarily have to be things that released in the year, just things that defined our year. So there'll be, I'm sure, an eclectic mix of some things. My biggest chunk is movies, probably.
Mine is as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it buffers, changes depending on who's who talking. I had to do movies first. I had down to do movies first, and that'd probably be the longest chunk. You could starting there. Is there somewhere else you want to begin?
I want to say right now, music is going to be my shortest. So I'm going to blast through that in about 30 seconds.
Okay.
So I don't know if we should start there and like...
It might be a good little palate cleanser later, though.
Yeah. I've got a fair bit of chunky games, but movies is the big one.
Okay. I'm happy just going into movies and just getting this moving.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Get movieing.
Yeah, and just to clarify, are we going to talk spoilers for any of these things? We'll keep it top level.
I think it depends on the thing.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. We will try and I'll warn if there are any blatant spoilers, I guess. Or anything like that. But yeah, it's not necessarily, just to reiterate, doesn't have to be like good or best things, just kind of defining things, or for me, just a lot of things that made me have some kind of feeling or thought in the year. So I assume I probably have the most entries for movies.
Definitely.
There will be overlap, so I don't know the best approach, if we should just go round robin or just do everyone's list one at a time and just knock out the overlaps as they come. How do we normally do this?
I think usually in the past we've usually done like, this is the stuff Alex has watched. But I think
I just don't want to balance it really heavy just to me.
Yeah, I think just doing it one here and there would be good. So there will be overlaps, at least then it's like, quite natural, opening up.
If we, I guess we go round robin then. How about that? I want to shout out my first one, Ant-Man Quantumania. Which
As a highlight?
As a highlight, yeah. For a lot of people, it's been the year of the flops, the year of things, I don't know, these megacorps lining up all these different stories, and it's just not panning out. But we're talking billions off the table, like projections missed, and it's like Quantumania wasn't the biggest bomb out of all of them, but there's something definitely symbolic about that film. There's the frame of that weird monster man in the suit, MODOK. The frame of that is a symbol of like the film industry, I feel like. It's like this thing.
It's become a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke, and the irony of it looking as bad as it does, but that frame or sequence probably costing like 20 million bucks, just that on its own. Is funny to think about, and it's embarrassing. and it was definitely it's notable for that reason. But I've always been pretty anti Ant-Man as a character and all that, and it's like, man, they didn't even try again. Why is Peyton
for
Reed
the third time
doing this? Yeah, why are we getting so much of this? Jim, what comes to your mind?
Well, there's definitely overlap with the three of us, but Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
Before even seeing the movie, like this film was in everybody's mind.
Yep.
Assisted by Barbie.
It was the marketing. It was the joint marketing, and the fact that they did capitalize on it. Yeah, says a lot.
And cinemas capitalized on it, and it's a way better movie than I was expecting. Like,
yeah, it was way better than I was expecting.
Thinking about it now, like, it may be Chris Nolan's best.
I think it's definitely up there. It's in that conversation for sure.
Yeah, it's at least in the top 3 of his. And I'm definitely not someone who, like, falls head over heels for anything Christopher Nolan. But this one in particular, like, it everything just slid into place.
Yeah.
And for a movie to be that long and to be such, like, a depressing topic, but for it to, like, grasp you, and
it's thought-provoking, and it captures the gravity of it really well. And a lot of, like, Chris Nolan's films, that is the entire vibe. It's like, let's make this intense. This is it's about overwhelming. This needs to feel important. The dialogue's big and heavy. Everything's big and giant, and these huge sets, and Tenet with the big plane and all this craziness.
Yeah, and the football field in Dark Knight Rises. He's like a spectacle director.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's like that movie was like a spectacle It was like a spectacle, but it was really low level. As in, not like these wide football field shots. It's really
it's in like classrooms and like houses and.
There's still like a scope to the story though, as far as how many characters it's juggling, how many different locations it's juggling, the amount of time it's covering, the non-linear structure of it. It does a lot of clever stuff. I was really surprised by that, because like you, as I gotten older, I haven't like stayed with that intense kind of like passion for Nolan. Yeah. As I've grown up, and while I liked Dunkirk, I liked Tenet for what it's worth. It wasn't like, it didn't feel like an upward trajectory to me. It feels like, Nolan, he's got his thing, he does his thing, and not that he didn't have his like checkmark qualities. It still has that like intense soundtrack. It has that like montage kind of editing, and everyone speaks like in that super kind of quippy way. But it really works with the framing, and it does feel important. It feels like heavy in a way that is appropriate.
It should. Yeah.
I think, making Oppenheimer, like, not that he wasn't a household name, but just boosting that story, making it so, kids are interested in this stuff, they're thinking about these things. It is a fascinating subject matter that I feel like is explored well and does leave you thinking.
And it doesn't only focus on, like, that aspect. Like the bomb aspect, it's
judging like the political stuff.
There's political, a lot of like character based, and even a bit of like a very small sprinkling of conspiracy. In there, like
they do lean into that with that one specific scene that if you're not looking for it, you're gonna miss it completely.
If you blink, you can miss it.
Because there's that whole the paranoia of the Communist Party he was a part of, and all of this stuff clashing, and how it bleeds out of World War II into the Cold War and to modern day.
And I think, but I would say the movie's great, but I think if that soundtrack wasn't to the power it was, we'd be we'll feel completely different about that film. That soundtrack is the reason that film's that good. 100% stand by that.
It definitely helps. It really helps, because I think it's like an amazing soundtrack.
It's really, I've been meaning to listen to it, but it's just when we come around here, I've heard you listening to it, and it's like, God, I want to watch that movie again. It's like going on my head.
I keep just like, I want to say intense. Like, it's very intense. Like this weird tempo change stuff it's doing. it makes you conjure the imagery of like particles and bombs and chemical reactions and things like this. Really good stuff. And if you say one, I guess I'll just take it off my list as we go through. I want to shout out Blackberry. Another surprise for me, following Oppenheimer, with like these biopic movies where not my favorite genre for sure, 100%. Like they are known to bug me, to be kind of predictable, kind of trite, expected. These like really obvious rise and fall type stories. But Matt Johnson directed this one about the BlackBerry phone, which I'm sure most people have forgotten about at this point. Like, when was the last time you gave any bandwidth in your mind towards a BlackBerry mobile phone?
I don't think I have since like 2000.
I don't think we have, because we weren't BBMers.
But I'd completely forgotten until watching this movie that like, oh yeah, my dad in like the early 2000s, he had a BlackBerry with work, and I remember like playing with it and thinking how cool it was and how like advanced it seemed and everything. The whole keyboard on there. But yeah, just the whole rise and fall story told in like a really lot of like intense handheld stuff, a lot of like improv feeling to it. Yeah, I thought that was like a nice surprise and another biopic type thing to weigh me the other side of like, okay, maybe there's more that can be done with this that won't irritate or annoy me. Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon is like the main character in it as well.
Oh, really?
I had a few like surprising actors in there. Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny.
Yeah, I saw him in it.
You
don't see Hiccup very much in film
outside, especially outside of. There's definitely comedic aspects to BlackBerry, but it's not the main focus. It's not necessarily a fully comedic performance. He takes it very seriously. I got to shout out Cocaine Bear for being just the one of those for the year, you know, where it's like there's just that one movie that year is like hyped up just because of like the name or like the gimmick, and then it comes out and like no one cares and no one is ever going to think about it again.
I think everybody forgot that it existed the day it released.
Yeah, it's like the marketing campaign is way more exciting than the actual movie itself. Nothing in the movie can match like the imagination or the humor that comes up with the concept. The Wikipedia page is funnier than the film, so just read the Wikipedia page.
Kind of sad, actually. It's like Ray Liotta's final film.
It was Ray Liotta's
really
one of his final roles, and directed by Elizabeth Banks. Not a very interesting director to me, but there we go. Shout out to that one. James, do you have one to shout out?
Well, I do, and it's one we've talked about before, but this is the film that has completely changed my perception of film forever. I didn't take film seriously my whole life. Born into a family that doesn't view films as art, you know. So naturally, I'm not going to be put in a situation where I can appreciate film and the really finer details of film for what they are. You know, to see, you know, between the lines and to read more into like scenes and characters and whatnot. But Lahane has completely changed my whole brain chemistry when it comes to films. I've never been more shocked to such an extreme degree. Every single scene of that movie is art. Like beautiful, gorgeous, stunning art. There's once you see that film, you're never going to forget some of those scenes. It is my favourite thing ever. I don't think I like anything as much as Lahane.
Really?
100%.
Yeah, really connected with you.
And
I put it on my list too. Because I watched it this year as well.
You watched it like a few weeks after me because you just what is it? Adam suggested.
Yeah, he recommended it on JARCast like a year ago or so. Yeah, it was excellent. It was kind of like French train spotting with a bit more. It was like French train spotting and This Is England kind of combined.
Which is films you've recommended for me to watch after watching Lahane.
Yeah, that was awesome. A lot of people know there's like a really famous mirror shot that is always shared around.
Gorgeous.
Because of how they achieved it, and like using like body doubles, and then actually not being a mirror and all this kind of cool stuff.
Really cool stuff. I need to actually look at how they did that scene, because that scene is just superb.
Mm-hmm.
It's
actually like quite simple how they did it, but like what it achieves is like really cool, and you don't even think about it.
Yeah, so I watched Lehane. It was really early in the year, and it was the thing is with films, I always find it difficult because I'm always in a mood for something. You know, I'm in a mood for like Blade Runner, so I want to watch Blade Runner. But this was a case when I was in the mood for something. I didn't know what it was, and it was just like going on Amazon. It was just like it caught me if it's black and white, and I was like, looked at the description. Yeah. I was like, fuck it, let's watch this. And every film I've seen this year has been after, and I've appreciated it completely differently. I am head over heels in love with that film. I'm so glad it's made me appreciate film for what it is.
Yeah,
it's just like it really got me. It really got me, because the start of that film is quite a slow burner. It really takes time to set up the atmosphere and the environment of Paris at that time.
I'm like trying to figure out, okay, what you're saying, like where's this going?
Yeah. And then
has a very strong ending, and how it concludes it all.
Really does. But then it really got me at the scene when the main character, played by Vincent Cassel, fabulous, is when it's with the gun. That scene was like, the cinematography here is so insane that I cannot, like, I paused it for like 10 minutes just to like comprehend how insane it is. And then it was just like a non-stop poetry until the end, especially the scene where they meet that like drug dealer, and it's like it's a bomb about to blow. So intense.
Yeah, good tension.
I love that film, and I'm so glad I took the risk on it this year.
I want to shout out the Mario Bros movie. It's in the like 10 films that made $1 billion or whatever this year. It's in there, and to me it marks a tipping point of like, superheroes. Like, we have a few we care about. We care about Batman, we care about Spider-Man, the odd one here or there, depending on like which actors are involved or whatever. But that's going down, and the video games, they're rising. The video game movies are here, you know. And like I put Mario Bros, but like there were heaps this year.
The video
game movies, yeah. Gran Turismo movie. Last of Us show came out. And it's like, it feels different now. Like early 2000s, 2010s even. Like the conversation was always, when we're gonna get a good video game movie, or like Scott Pilgrim comes out and it's like, it makes $3, and it's like, when are people going to care about video games? And it's like, well, I guess if Mario's involved, everyone cares. Everyone's going to see it, and it's Illumination, so it's exactly what you'd imagine. And personally disappointing to me. You could do so much fun, like goofy, crazy stuff.
Do you think it's possible to make a good Mario movie?
You could take the Mario movie that exists now, and even with some small tweaks, make it a better movie, probably. But it's just, so safe. Like, it feels like, you know, when you're in a theme park and it's showing like little clips of like the build-up hypes. Like, it literally feels like that as a movie to me. But get used to it, baby. That's only just beginning.
Yeah, time for Zelda.
As far as like in the sea of bombs, in the sea of like superhero stuff coming and burning up and blowing up and dying, there was one that rose to the top for me.
Blue Beetle.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yes.
James Gunn's last one of these films. And I thought it was a really good conclusion, to be honest. I thought it was a good way to wrap up those characters. I thought it was weird. Like the locations and stuff. Like going gross with it, getting creepy with it.
Yeah,
getting disturbing with it.
It felt quite brave. I wouldn't even class it as a Marvel movie.
That's what I like about the Guardians movies. They feel like a James Gunn movie first.
Well, yeah, I feel like
with a Marvel production.
The first one feels the most Marvel-y to me.
Yeah.
And then it feels like he got more and more influence as they like went along.
As he made them more and more money.
Yeah. And then the third one just like is his movie.
Mm-hmm.
He did what he wanted to do with the characters, and like you said, took it to some pretty like horrible and uncomfortable places.
Yeah.
Like, because you know what's gonna happen from like the moment they start getting creepy with it, and you know it's like I know how this is gonna play out, but I'm still gripped.
Yeah, because he just has, I don't know, I just quite like his approach to like these pop characters and like the way he fleshes them out just enough.
Yeah.
So you can like be invested in each one of them individually, and they're all, everyone's given like a moment, and like every one of these characters is fleshed out and given something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a good like earned ending. Like the emotions feel earned when it gets to them, and I feel like it's got like a really good ending. Like the way it will like, wraps up.
Yeah.
It's not too clean. Like they don't feel like they got to force relationships back into the same place they were. Like they just conclude it, and it's like that's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's melancholy.
Yeah, and bittersweet.
And I think it should be. Yeah, I was kind of blown away by that movie, honestly.
Yeah, lots of like, I don't know, it's becoming more and more of a litmus test for me, where it's like, if I can, because I've got quite a visual memory, like I should be able to remember like a lot of different like visuals and different frames from a film, if it's like made an impression on me. And I can do that for Guardians. I can do that for some of my favourites of the year. I remember like all the different colours and some of those jokes and character moments and whatnot. James, do you have another one?
Well, I do, but it's not a film. It's rather a director. Because coming off of my found appreciation for film, I decided to check out a director that had been recommended to me a fair bit. Rather, a film that was. And that's Denis Villeneuve's whole entire filmography. And that mainly started with Blade Runner 2077.
2049. 2077 is...
I'm getting punk mixed up all the different cyberpunk media. But yeah, I checked out Blade Runner, and like it was like a love affair. As soon as I saw his visual style, it's like, boy. And I know I've always been a fan of cyberpunk media, so it was an obvious choice that I'm going to watch 2049 and love it. I have a lot of sentimentality for that movie. There's so much to say about it, and we've talked about it before. That was before I watched it. But yeah, visually amazing. Ryan Gosling's Kay, great. I love it. But then I decided to check out Incendies, which is probably his best film, arguably. Loved it as well. Had me fucking like upset. So glad I got recommended it. It's one of his earlier works, but you can really tell it's him. It's a lot more kind of low stakes. It's not got that huge production that his later films have. But it's
still pretty intense though.
It's really intense. And I rate Incendies as his top film. And then Arrival. Definitely one that was...
That movie blew me... It blew my mind. And I've had this... Because I the whole thing is that like language.
Yeah.
And the movie's basically about like language and communication.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's about.
But it meant they had to create a language, a visual language. And there's this video on YouTube that like is the people who worked on the movie explaining how they did it, how they made that language. And I've never watched it, but I've meant to for a very long time. It's like too daunting a topic.
Like what a fun, engaging like hook for a character. It's like you got to figure out what these aliens are saying.
Yeah,
like that's so interesting.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't have to do anything really.
It's never been done with a alien arriving on Earth thing. Like you,
it's like situation where the political situations get more and more extreme as they're struggling to even work out how to communicate.
And they're not humanoid in any form.
Yeah.
So there's no
really
overlap.
unbelievably fascinating way they did.
Yeah, that movie made me feel dumb because of how clever it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can never think up something that genius.
No, not. Yeah, I couldn't either.
That script is like without fault.
Yeah, Arrival was really good, and I definitely rate that. It's just a great film, but it's just like the thing with Denis Villeneuve is he's so fucking good. He's so good that it's like, man, this film's amazing, but it's not your best. He's that good. And then I watched Dune. You know, Dune. There's a way to feel about that film, and that's that it's setting up number 2, and that's all it's kind of doing. So you've kind of got the way I feel about it is going to change when the sequel comes out.
Yeah,
but great film,
weird.
Visually amazing. It's just fantastic.
Movies like that do annoy me.
Yeah, I feel like I've got to like reserve myself a little bit until I can be like, okay, like this was like earned. But like, there was like some payoff to all this, you know.
I feel the same way about my movie of the year,
which is
Spider-Man.
Not finished.
Across Spider-Verse.
We'll get back to Spider-Man.
Yeah, just to finish off with Denis Villeneuve, Prisoners.
Oh my god, yeah.
Prisoners is fucking disgustingly amazing.
Yeah, if
Hugh Jackman especially is like, fuck me, you're acting so. This is insane.
Yeah, Paul Dano's good in that too,
and Jake Gyllenhaal as well.
And that creepy guy, who's in The Dark Knight.
Creepy guy.
Yeah, the creepy.
The guy who's like pretending
I know
to be.
You mean.
He's also in Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
James
he's
Gunn's
polka dot guy.
And Dune. And Blade Runner.
He's
in all of them.
He has bit parts in all of.
Does he?
Yeah.
In Dune, he's the he's like the.
Is he the Doctor?
No, he's Harkon's sideman.
Yeah, he's a Harkonnen guy.
Yeah.
It's only small roles.
Yeah, and in Blade Runner, he's the guy in the hospital doing the body.
He gets like killed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You notice it.
Yeah, he is in all of them.
Yeah.
He just has a really memorable face.
Yeah, he's quite a scary looking guy.
Like intense looking.
But Prisoners is fucking insane. And it's like, if you want a really fucked up movie, watch Prisoners. Because the acting is so masterclass, you're going to love it no matter what.
Yeah, and as like a detective story, if you're into that whatsoever, then like...
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal does a detective so fucking well, man.
Yeah.
Like that, like Prisoners is definitely probably like his top 3.
Do you seen Zodiac?
No, but I know that's another Zodiac one with him.
Yeah.
Zodiac's amazing.
But yeah, with having gone from Lehane straight to Denis Villeneuve's, it's like, again, I'm appreciating it more because of Lehane. And he is now my favourite director, Villeneuve, and I'm looking forward to what he does with Dune 2. And I'm so glad I can appreciate his style in particular, thanks to
it's Lehane. The best way to comb through film, in my opinion, is by director. Because I used to do it like it was by actor at first when I was like a teenager. So just like a few actors that I liked. But then you figure out that there's like no consistency to that. It's like, why are they like good in this thing, but then they suck in this thing? And you eventually figure out it's usually because of directors and writers. And yeah, that was something I did. A couple of memorable standouts for me was I'd zoned in a little bit on the Coen brothers, and I wanted to fill out some of the filmography I hadn't before, and I saw the Hudsucker Proxy and Barton Fink. Those are the two big ones. They've been like watch list movies for like years and years and years, just there. And I've like always seen that poster and been like, why haven't I seen this? I love the Coen brothers. What am I doing? Both awesome. Barton Fink is, Jesus from Big Lebowski. He's like a writer who's just moved to LA. And it's like, this commentary on like these writer types and like a period piece and just all that kind of dialogue you expect from them and the quirky characters that they're in like one scene but they're like so memorable, or it's like what the Coens specialize in. And the Hudsucker Proxy was good as well, about like an idiot guy who's like tricked into being the CEO of a company, but it doesn't like work out for the board, and it's like this big like mess. Yeah, that was fun, awesome. There's still a couple more I got to fill out with them, but you can't really miss when it comes to their writing style, in my opinion. But yeah, I suppose we should do Spider-Man now, because that would be up there for me as far as like favorites.
Yeah, and it probably is my favorite movie from 2023.
My like trepidation bar was like, I go into every movie with it like full, and you can figure out just like with how, in a few minutes, like with how things are presented, like, does this need to stay full? And like by the end of the first scene, I was like, nah, this is, thank God.
Yeah,
we're here with this.
Yeah.
They got it. They understood the assignment here. Yeah, let's just take what we got right in that first one. Let's just fucking amp it up.
Yeah, and flesh out. Which I think they did.
Getting like abstract with the color use, with the visuals, and like just how loose they are with it.
Yeah, the whole dimension hopping stuff, and like it is a comic book. It's the most comic book movie ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. It makes, like with just how everything comes together aesthetically and the writing style and like the humor and everything, it makes you like, you look over then to like something like Black Widow and you're just like, why do you exist? You know?
Yeah.
And that's like twice the budget as well. It's just like, why haven't we been doing this the whole time?
Yeah.
Like, all you need is like a solid team of animators, an artistic vision, a few talented animator directors, and then a couple of like comedic writers that actually understand what they're talking about. But it's weird. I was saying this the other week, like there's this real like trend now with like, it used to just be bad stuff was memed, and that's kind of how you knew something was really bad, is that it was memed a lot. But now it's like both, you know? Like, if there are memes for like a movie, like Spider-Verse with the...
that went everywhere.
Been memed. And, it's like a mark stuff of like success, like the Oppenheimer musics and like all these memes and all these like Barbie clips. It's like, being memed is almost like a mark of success now. And that popped into my mind for Cross.
A marketing success.
Yeah. It was a shame about the working conditions coming out after the fact. But I think that's an unfortunate reality for most animation departments across this entire industry. There's people have been saying, and I haven't got around to seeing it yet, but this new Godzilla movie is being why am I blanking on this? Like rewarded, being talked about positively for how good it looks, for how low its budget is, which is being touted as like 15 million odd, which is low for a film of that kind of scale.
Right.
But then like you find out that like working conditions for animators in Japan is like so abysmal.
Yeah,
that's how they're able to keep costs down.
A lot of controversy at the moment over it. A lot.
Yeah, and I think just the more it's talked about, that's good, because it shouldn't be like the film was profitable, made a hell of a lot of money. Where's all that money going? Like it should be going back in so you can pay the people who made it good to come back and then make it good again. Like, it's just crazy.
Make something else good.
Yeah. Because that's the joke over at Sony is like, the projects they ignore like wind up being good, but the stuff they tinker with, your Venoms, your Morbiuses, and all this stuff, like where they have their focus and where their producers are like focusing on, it's going to be like the worst shit you've ever seen, like genuinely the worst shit you've ever seen.
I don't know. The Hunter guy movie looks kind of fire.
Craven the Hunter.
Craven, that's right.
Christ.
Bitten by a radioactive lion. Is it? Or is it a tiger? Can't remember.
Well, if we're on the subject of animated films, like I don't know if this came out this year, for some reason, Letterboxd said it came out last year. Last Wish. Lovely. Great fucking film.
Last Wish.
What? Catman?
Puss in Boots.
Oh, yeah, that was this year, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, you're right.
Was it?
Yeah, I saw that in February, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think it's because in some parts of the world they were like releasing it in like late December or something. So it like gives it a 20. Yeah, it's really confusing, that like crossover period.
I actually saw that in the cinema this year, and yeah, just it made me really happy. Just a really sweet film.
And we're at a point now where it's like,
and
Pixar, you're boring, man. DreamWorks. In saying that though, that I had to write down the names. It's so fucking forgettable. Ruby Gilman, Teenage Kraken. That was the other DreamWorks movie this year. It was like, woohoo! Bad news bears, that one.
Was that like classic DreamWorks? Like,
that was like classic. No one's gonna ever think about this ever again. DreamWorks.
Yeah, well, I mean, with a name like that,
but it's like not even like B movie or Monsters vs Aliens. Like, they're so bad into a degree where it's like you can meme it and make fun of it.
Yeah.
But this is like, you're not even giving me the oxygen to make fun of you. That's how like nothing you are.
Boring.
Yeah, but Puss in Boots, that was golden.
Really good. Really, really good. I'm thinking about that wolf and I want to watch it again.
You horned up.
Who the fuck isn't?
I haven't seen it.
That film is really good. And you should watch it, because it's just like a really, like, you don't even have to watch the previous ones, because it's just like, it's just about, Puss in Boots. I can catch you up to date on that.
I got my own Puss in Boots. So
I want to shout out The Boy and the Heron. I saw that in Canada. Had an awesome time.
Is that the Gibbles?
The new Gibbles.
The Gibbles. Well, yeah. Speaking of animators that are treated horribly.
Oh right, yeah.
Do you know who animated Ghibli films?
Who? Oh Christ. Yeah, stunning, creative, complex. Now it's dealing with these ideas of like grief. I can't wait to see it again, to be honest. We have to wait a little bit. I think it's out like Boxing Day or something here
really
in
soon.
the UK.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a really annoying time.
It is an annoying time. Sorry. And yeah, it's one of the only times I will actually submit to watching the dub.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, seeing those clips of him as the heron is quite interesting, because the heron had like a crazy voice in the Japanese version. Yeah, just totally my kind of.
Yeah, I'd
shit.
like to see that.
I would like to see it too.
I like a Gibble.
I've only seen one.
Really?
I've only seen one Ghibli film.
Which?
Kiki's Delivery Service. 2. Kiki's Delivery Service and Spirited Away. Okay. I need to watch Princess Mononoke, because that's like.
Got Mononoke. The bug one is cool as well.
My Neighbor Totoro as well.
Bit cringy.
It's very like kiddie.
Yeah, it's for babies. I see. Why, thank you, sire. I see you've got Blue Beetle on your list. You actually.
I'm gonna just to speed this up. I'm gonna combine Blue Beetle, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Blue Beetle. Is that all the main ones? What else was it? Yeah, I guess I'd also put like the Marvels if I'd seen it, which I haven't yet. Probably in this category as well, where it's like, you done fucked it up. Yeah. Like that's what the award you get.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
the Flash looked kind of fire though.
Too much. I was sat there and I was like, I was feeling crazy when I saw Aquaman as a recording this yesterday. I suppose Aquaman can go on there too in that same section. Yeah. Just thinking like, man. There was a novelty to sitting down. What was it, 2018 or something? That first Aquaman film came out, and it's like the humor that was inherent to like sitting down to a packed cinema to watch an Aquaman film.
Yeah. With
the casting being controlled by Zack Snyder, and it being like this rushed together film directed by James Wan. crazy just combination.
Did James Wan come back for the sequel?
He did direct, and I think he did the story as well in the sequel. But it's like, yeah, and then smash cut 5 years later, and it's like, this shit ain't funny anymore, man. The humor's lost now.
Yeah,
like, this shit ain't funny.
While you were ahead.
Like, yeah, it's like, it's just kind of fucking sad, to be honest. You know, it's like desperate. It's like, yeah, Blue Beetle's gonna change the game, guys. Blue Beetle's gonna change things. Everyone loves Blue Beetle and his certain dynamic he brings, huh? And then it's like, you watch the movie and it's like, Blue Beetle, no villain, Blue Beetle's here. Hold on, ding, bing.
Were you just describing a Transformers film?
No, that's Blue Beetle. He kind of looks like a Transformer.
He does kind of look like a Transformer when he gets his big sword. So, from what I can gather, you quite enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like a 8 out of 10, probably. Not the strongest DC output, but no, it's crazy because this is not small amounts of money we're talking about. Each one of these movies is 100 to 200 million a pop.
They're just pissing. They are pissing money, and Disney especially. Like they are happily just pissing money into the drain.
Don't let DC get away with this though. Either like WB, like at least you can say with Disney there was a period where Marvel movies were making $1 billion every single time they released one. There was a period where the live action remakes were making $1 billion. But like, what does DC like? What confidence did they have? Like, what were they thinking? Like even on a good year, like something like Shazam: Fury of the Gods, like, oh hey Emil, you gonna play some chess? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, they were trying to play catch up when like they had already lost the race. You know, they were trying to catch up to the person who was celebrating.
Yeah, and we all know that like playing a desperate catch up, a scrambling desperate catch up is always going to work out well. Definitely not going to wind up in a Flash situation where you sink like 10 years of production and hundreds of millions.
How much money went into that movie?
It must have wound up being like 300 million or so. And I suppose I can also, in this kind of segment, push in there Indiana Jones 5. Similar story, where it's just like everything about this is like the wrong angle. It's too long. It like is missing the fun, vibrancy of those original films. It just feels out of place. The budget is so ridiculously overinflated that there's like no chance in hell it's ever gonna make its money back. And there's just something like sad and defeating about it. It's like, how lame is that like a new Indiana Jones film came out. I'm the only one that saw it.
Yeah.
No one cared.
No.
And now it's done forever.
Yeah, that was kind of ruined from Crystal Skull. They used up all their good favour.
I agree, but still poop. The Flash was like maybe the craziest one out of all of those, just in terms of like, oh wow, they're actually not just gonna tax write off this. Like this is actually coming out, and you're like. Michael Keaton like doing the press, and it's just like this crazy mess, and they're trying to hide Ezra Miller's involvement, and like what a crazy
and
mess.
The guy who plays Zod in his
just shit talking the film.
Yeah,
basically.
he's just shitting all over it. He's like yeah, he's like, I didn't even want to do it, but like I just had to show up like for one day.
You'd have to be like stupid because the paycheck would be obscene.
Yeah, for no work.
For like a day's work, and like you don't even have to like take off your mask, and it's like you're 80% CG anyway. Very, very embarrassing indeed. But something I was expecting to be embarrassing that wound up actually being pretty awesome was that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Because I've never cared about that franchise. I still don't really care about it, but I saw Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails, did the score for it. I saw that on Spotify and was like going through some of the tracks and was like, this is kind of cool, interesting. And then you see it's like produced by Seth Rogen and a bunch of like comedians or whatever, and it's like, okay, this is interesting. It's like credited on the story and stuff. Let's see what happened here. I don't exactly love. It's not called Food Fight, but it looks like Food Fight. What is it?
Oh shit!
The religious, the religion one.
Sausage Party.
Sausage Party. Yeah, like I think he wrote that, and that was
awful.
That was not good.
I hate that movie.
That was bad news.
Let's not open that.
But this was actually kind of cool. It was like cute, breezy. Knew what it was actually kind of funny. Instead of like Johnny Knoxville like voicing the turtle, it was like actual like kids, like Zoomers.
Yeah.
Zoomy.
And yeah, they like there's a hell of a lot of like reference humor, but I don't know. It kind of just it felt like appropriate because that is what Zoomers are like, you know. They just speak in Fortnite references.
True.
So I thought that was appropriate.
Really different.
Ice Cube is like the villain. He's this like he's Fly Guy or something. Yeah, which is kind of cool and fun. It's like it's confidently ugly. Like, you know, it's kind of doing the Spider-Verse thing.
Yeah, that bugged me about it.
That kind of bugged me from the trailers too, but in like actually watching it, it was like, oh, this is what's setting it apart from a Spider-Verse,
right? From
a Puss in Boots thing, where it's like, no, like the character designs are like they're like repulsive and crazy looking, like actually like so wrong, like intentionally wrong in like a cool kind of stylized way, which I dug. Cool colors as well. I had like a really, I don't know, it just was gross. It looked gungy, it looked oozy and gooey, like you know, like animals in a fucking sewer shit. Yeah. So I was into that. As far as like in this world of flops and shits and these big sci-fi tentpoles and whatever, there was one original one, the creator that was wedged in the middle there. A spark of hope in the original sci-fi space. Looked really cool from the trailers. Kind of looked like... Do you know anything about Gareth Edwards? He did like the 2014 Godzilla. He did Rogue One. He did this little film called Monsters, which was like made for like $5, which was okay. And yeah, this is his latest. But it winds up being kind of a all-star, no substance, like sci-fi thing, where it really reminded me of what's the District 9 guy called? Blomkamp, Neil Blomkamp. Where I love District 9, and I don't mean that level. I'm talking more like Elysium or Chappie type thing, where it's like the crux is something like Chappie, where it's like, I'm Chappie, I'm alive, I'm an AI, and it's this big philosophical question.
Yeah.
Kind of like packaged in this small little intimate story. They kind of do a similar thing where it's like, it's the kid with the AI, and it's like the special kid, you're the special chosen robot kid, right? And all of this type shit. And yeah, it just doesn't come together. It doesn't have the dialogue. But man, the visuals are very cool. It like really feels wasted. And like Hans Zimmer does the soundtrack, and it's like I don't remember a single like theme or anything from that.
That's kind of typical for Hans Zimmer, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I felt like with the Oppenheimer score being as good as it was, and it not being Zimmer was kind of like interesting to me.
Yeah,
so, maybe Nolan has more like he communicates exactly what he wants a little bit clearer, and it's not like just Hans Zimmer as much. I don't know. I can't remember the last Zimmer score I like loved.
The remake of The Lion King.
You guys have anything else you want to shout out?
I've got many.
Go for it.
Should probably also mention, going off of Blade Runner being mentioned, I also did watch the original director's cut, which is an important statement I feel like I need to make. I've not seen any of the others, and I'm not going to. Gorgeous film. iconic.
Is the director's cut
The best one.
Best one?
Yes, I think that's argued this the best one because it keeps a lot.
Is that the final cut?
Final cut? Final cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
The director's cut's a different one, isn't it?
I think the director's cut is the one you don't want to watch.
Okay, ignore what I just said.
I started watching it the other night, and
It's final you want.
The final cut. The base is on YouTube. Just watch one on YouTube.
all right.
Because buying
Well,
movies through YouTube is really easy.
There's
Just
one
do
on
it.
Amazon Prime at the minute that I started watching,
That's-
and it's got the narration.
Yeah, if you hear the narration, just turn it off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But-
It makes it so much worse. I mean, I've been watching it, and you get a few details which are cool, that like things that can't naturally be brought up in the movie, so he just says them. But
It's too overt. It's too like.
yeah, most of the time it's just like a scene happens, then he's like, "So this just happened in the scene you just watched,
yeah.
and now I'm doing this."
It's like
thing."
condescending.
Yeah, he's just telling you what he's doing while he's doing it. It's
And the whole like charm of that movie is that it's empty. There's a lot of times when it's like you're
And you just
Yeah.
want to sit in the atmosphere of it.
Yeah,
You can't
and
do
it's-
that to someone just droning.
And that Vangelis soundtrack, I'm so glad, having watched it after 2049, that Vangelis score is something else.
That's the main thing for me, where like it's more complicated with everything except the music, which I
Yeah.
prefer 100% in the original.
Beautiful.
It's less like just smashing you over the head with like,
The hands
this place sucks. Look how big everything is. Big deep noise.
brutalism.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer.
Hands up. Great sound. Actually, is quite good.
It is a good soundtrack.
But
It's just
the best songs on that soundtrack are Hans Zimmer and someone else, like Joy.
it just doesn't give you the same feeling of that world where like
that beautiful.
the original Blade Runner feels like real. Like it's a play. These people just live there. Like
It's a bit more
It's their
like
reality.
noirish as well.
It's,
in
yeah,
the
it's
80s.
extremely
Yeah.
more fitting for that.
it feels more grounded
Mm.
in that like it's not this overly and I think that does come from the soundtrack.
It does.
You know, you get a total different mood from the oppressive like stuff you can't ignore. But if it's smooth jazz,
Yeah, because
it
it's
just pops up. Like,
the blush response, the song blush response is really kind of upbeat, and obviously it's used in that part of the movie, so it really is just gorgeous. There's a reason I'm now like kind of obsessed, even more so with cyberpunk media, and it's because of Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I'm so
That's the one that
glad
kicks it
I've
off.
finally actually seen the origin of where the entire style kind of moved on
Yeah.
from.
And
Not
it-
moved
yeah,
on from.
It
but
definitely makes sense.
moved from. But now then, everything I've said throughout of you know Denis Villeneuve and everything else is not applicable to my next conversation. John Woo films. I've got to talk about John Woo films because they
Quite
are
different.
they are amazing. I've gone through his entire peak Hong Kong discography. So I've done Better Tomorrow 1, 2, The Killer, Hard Boiled, and Bullet in the Head. And I'm absolutely in love with that era of his direction. They are, and I think he said so himself, they're not like, from an extreme film critic's views and the way that there is the science of film, you know.
Yeah.
He completely disagrees with it, and he does things, he thinks it looks cool.
Yeah, he doesn't care about theory at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see that in his films, and that's why they're good. Because they're you don't go into them thinking this is a very serious film. It's like it's just goofy.
Yeah,
They're
it feels like a
extremely
John
goofy
Woo film.
films.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they're amazing for that.
Yeah, he did have a film this year, which apparently wasn't that good in the end.
Silent Night.
I'll see it eventually. But yeah, I'm with you on Hard Boiled. We watched that
We
together.
did. We watched that.
And I had a good time with that. My biggest takeaway was probably that one towards the end. Really fun action. Throwing the sprinkling of the humour in with the baby and stuff. Like, there's some good combo right there.
Like his films are just like, it's a really loose narrative that doesn't make sense. That's just joining cool gunfights.
The rule of cool, baby.
And that's the only thing that matters. And I love his earlier ones like Better Tomorrow because it's like they're not as so much about the gunfights. It's where that formula, like he knew they was onto something. And there's a few scenes from Better Tomorrow which are like, that's fucking cool. He knows where he's going to take this. And then you get The Killer where it's just like so romantically cool that I love it. And there's a reason why Max Payne, his whole formula comes from John Wick.
Yeah. And
like
we watched Face Off as well.
We did,
didn't we?
and I've got strong opinions about it.
Yeah, you didn't like it.
No, it's funny as fuck.
It's one of the funniest.
It's hilarious. The fact it's a big Hollywood production as well makes it even funnier.
It is. Like, I saw it as a kid, obviously, but then I didn't know John Woo, didn't know the style, and I didn't. I kind of thought, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
and
when you're
watching it now, it's like he's got the face of his enemy, and he's fucking.
So fucking batshit insane.
And I love it for that. But in watching Face Off, I can see where Hollywood ruined his core style. The style that he had from Hong Kong has been like diluted, but it makes up for it in how absurd it is, because it absolutely is absurd. But
yeah, I think Nicolas Cage can like be really credited for kind of carrying that film.
John Travolta, man, as well. Though.
Yeah,
they're playing each other.
Of them.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Well, no, because I forgot that it was John Travolta being Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that's how good they both are.
Yeah, they like absolutely nail the premise.
It's just so fucking funny.
So
it's
unreal.
We were scream laughing so much.
Yeah, the fact it exists, I'm so grateful for.
And the fact that it's it's just a John Woo film, and it's like
I'd say that's the only way to make it work. Is that style of direction. Yeah,
like I love Face Off, but I'm like romantically affectionate towards his Hong Kong films. I personally, having seen the majority of them, Bullet in the Head is probably his peak film, because it manages the serious tone as well as the goofy like gunfights.
Right.
I think it does it perfectly when it's basically a Hong Kong crime film during the Vietnam War. So it's like weird setting that is so like, it had me crying at the end because I was like, fuck, this is so emotional. I love this. So I definitely would probably rate it Bullet in the Head, The Killer, Hard Boiled, Better Tomorrow 2 and then 1. Like, Hard Boiled is just funny and obscene, and you can really see why that kind of led to Hollywood from Hard Boiled.
Bro, do you have any others, major ones that are standing out in your mind?
I mean, Barbie kind of has to be brought up
Barbie
because of because we brought up Oppenheimer as well. You have to bring them both up. We've already talked about it.
I definitely liked Oppenheimer a lot more than Barbie.
Yeah, way more.
I'll revisit Oppenheimer. I'm not going to rush back to seeing Barbie anytime soon. But in saying that, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I found it a little bit irritating.
Yeah, definitely like, not every joke was landing for me.
No,
but it wasn't annoying me though either. It wasn't like a bad comedy for that. I just felt like a lot of the jokes just felt like, that just wasn't for me.
I don't like what the movie means, and it.
What do you mean by that? How politicized it is, you mean?
No, as in like what it means for the toy industry.
Oh right. Well, the Lego movie's already ruined that.
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm not as crazy about the Lego movie. But can
you blame? But like, you could say the same about Star Wars, though.
Well, which ones? The
originals.
The originals.
Like the OGs.
That they were made to sell toys. Do you think he made that first movie to sell toys?
Well, like it's known how much of like a ruthless businessman the guy is.
Yeah, it's true. I just don't associate like George Lucas
I just mean
being
more
a businessman.
How a thing comes out, everyone loves it. It starts like trends of everyone copying it. Like, is it the copycats that are the bad thing?
Well,
or
no,
the
but I mean,
thing?
I'm not like blaming the Lego movie. It's just like it's become something else since the fact.
Well, it's like, the conclusions corporations take away from the success of these things is always the wrong one. They don't see, it's because it was a good movie. They just see, it was a successful Lego movie based on brand.
But I don't think Barbie would exist without the Lego movie.
No.
And Barbie tries a lot more to talk about big businesses and their wrongdoings. And
I don't know, the Lego movie did do that a lot. President Business, and
yeah, I suppose
it's just wrapped up in a different, like, if
yeah,
I keep saying that the Greta Gerwig's the director who's known for these types of movies, so they're full of commentary, usually from women's perspective, and yeah, that to me is one of the more important things with the film. Is like, do I feel like it's a director or a writer saying something? And Barbie felt like another one of those, like an Oppenheimer feels like a Nolan film.
Yeah, for me it just gets to a point where, like, if you're speaking from a certain place, then what you're saying is being devalued by its surroundings. You know, if Barbie is saying like we want equality, like economic equality, it's like made by a giant business with all these like businessmen characters who are just like played off to be kind of goofy dads.
Yeah. Well, this is like, I remember coming to notice this in this issue, this, I guess you'd call it what, a contradiction, conflict of interest, or like just it's that intersection of art and commerce where, yeah, it is kind of funny that in Mr. Robot the enemies are megacorps, but you're watching it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I remember having that thought when watching it. I don't know if it's on Prime in America or whatever, but it is in the UK. And yeah, the whole crux is like, we got to take down megacorps.
Yeah. And it's like
being funded
on the biggest streaming website. Yeah.
But that's just the cyberpunk future we live in, I think.
Yeah, it's also slightly different where Barbie is like an established commercial product IP. So attaching stuff like that to Barbie can sort of fit, and like, you just know this is being filtered through the Mattel like producers.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it's obviously true that there's like a boardroom angle of like, we got to get cool, trendy auteur director to take this like outdated thing and like modernize it.
Yeah.
Repackage it in a way to kind of resell it to like new generations and make this thing cool again. Because like, when was the last time you like thought about Barbie?
Why would we?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
No, but we're grown men.
But that's what I'm saying. But now like everyone is thinking about Barbie. It's in the mind's eye. Everyone saw the film, whether they really cared about it or not.
I didn't.
True, you didn't. But and what I'm trying to say is I'm fine with the film. The film is normal. Ryan Gosling rocks in it. Like it's the movie that turned me on to thinking, okay, this guy rocks.
Really, that was the one.
Yeah, I mean, like in the only other movie I've really enjoyed to a massive degree with him was Blade Runner.
Okay. Whereas for me, he was always like, there was like a flow chart, and Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling were on the same one, and Ryan Reynolds decided to go down whatever would make the most money, and Ryan Gosling was like, I want to actually pick some kind of interesting projects.
Yeah. But there was also a time where he was doing the guy who directed Drive,
Winding Refn.
Yeah, and they made another movie together.
The Pine one.
Yeah, Place Beyond the Pines.
That was him?
Pretty sure.
Not The Place Beyond the Pines, the other one. Right, it's all like neon Ryan Gosling.
Kitty.
That's Drive, isn't it?
Dark no. Kitty. Mr. Dark Kitty, something like that.
Mr. Fat Pussy or something.
No, it is that dark. It is dark something.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Fucking hell, Alex.
The Dark Knight. I don't see him in The Dark Knight.
He was Batman, right?
Like when? What was it called?
He was the Joker, baby.
He was good in The Nice Guys. Only God Forgives. Is it that one?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And that movie got clowned.
That's right, 2013. That was Winding Refn.
Yeah. So then I got the perception that Ryan Gosling's a bit of a twat, like pretentious kind of.
Right.
You know how you come to these conclusions, and then I saw him in The Nice Guys, but I kind of background watched that movie, and I was like, that was fine.
Yeah, he's funny in that movie.
And then Blade Runner, I saw him in. I was like, oh, he does quite a good like stoic, confused
guy,
sad man.
Yeah.
And then he did Barbie, and it was like he's singing and dancing and just being funny.
Yeah.
You know,
he's got the humor gene.
He puts his whole like fat pussy in it. Yeah. But yeah, Barbie is a fine, good movie, but I don't like its existence.
It's definitely like, God, it might be the zeitgeist movie of the whole year.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's just another step towards the total social degradation.
No, that's capitalism.
Communism.
No, capitalism.
Don't. Did you guys... Oh, I need to shout out Beau is Afraid. That was...
I want to see that.
Probably my favourite horror movie of the year.
Scary.
Is doing a lot, is very unusual, is not... has a weird pace to it, especially the first time. But upon rewatch, it's like... It's unlike anything else. It's got some sequences that are... untrue. I've had a couple films like kind of put me in a dream-like trance state. I've had that happen a couple times. It is kind of almost like gooning.
Film gooning.
But like there's a point in Beau is Afraid that is like it like puts you into a trance. It's crazy.
Did you have a seizure?
And it's such a like... No, it's like the opposite. It's like... Yeah, like emotionally overwhelming in the best possible way, and it's like such a good it's so fucking anxiety inducing and uncomfortable, and
yeah, that director is good.
So Ari Aster just knows how to make your skin crawl. Yeah, big fan of that, and that was a huge flop as well. Fuck The Little Mermaid, just want to throw that out there. Fuck that film.
Hitman.
Yeah, that was David Fincher's latest.
The Hitman. No, was it The Killer?
Oh yeah, no, Hitman was the other movie I saw in Canada. Yeah, I got nothing to say about Hitman. No, The Killer was the new Fincher movie. It was proven a bit more controversial. A lot of people don't like it. I quite enjoyed it. Definitely not one of his better films, but his like clinical style is like just really entertaining to me. Haven't seen Fassbender in anything good in a while too. I'd like to see him again.
Very good actor.
Also, middle fingers up to the FNAF movie. Kind of similar bucket as the Mario movie, where it's just like, girl, here we just open the doors. It's just, here we are.
It is abysmal though. We never talked about it.
Yeah, I forgot you'd seen it. Yeah.
It's such a fantastically awful film.
It's kind of like what I was saying about... What movie was I even talking about where it's like there's nothing to even make fun of? That DreamWorks movie, that was it. Where it's like not funny bad, it's not memeable, it's just fucking nothing.
Yeah, it was so disappointing, and like that first game, like that premise, I feel like is pretty easy to just make a spooky movie from. Why did you have to have like the FNAF cast fucking dancing around and like making a den out of sheets and stuff? Like that's a portion of the movie. And yeah, spoilers alert, but fuck FNAF.
Yeah, like honestly, it's really fucking bad.
I feel like it betrayed what... Like, I know Mario played up too much. It was like a roller coaster.
Remember
of different
this?
Video games. Yeah, member berry shit. But FNAF was like... This isn't even a horror movie. No. You're like...
They didn't care at all.
No. But like Scott Cawthon wrote it and stuff. I mean, maybe if it was in the original creator's hands, it would have actually been treated with some respect, but I don't know.
For now.
Yeah.
And I got a shout out to the Stop Making Sense A24. Mentioned that a little bit more in the music bit, but that's kind of most of the main ones. I did watch The Fast and the Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious with James this year.
Great
Too
fucking
Fast,
films.
Too Furious is probably the best one.
It's not.
Out of the
It's
whole
not.
series.
It's not.
Definitely the gayest one.
It's extremely gay, and it's great for it.
Like, as far as that unintentional humor, where like they're trying to be as like macho and awesome as possible, and it's like just coming out a completely different way.
I'm gonna have to give you break your heart. You're gonna have to watch it for the simple reason is you're not gonna enjoy GTA 6 without it.
Oh, is that the one you got? The matching Fast and Furious.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
They're both in Miami, Florida.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So they're basing all the car shit in GTA 6 off that. Great film. They're shit. They're fucking crap, and it annoys me that the car community has like they're in like Stockholm syndrome with that shit. Because they're crap. They're shit. They're garbage films. They're terrible. They do nothing good for cars. They do nothing good for the car community. They're just quite shit. But at least Too Fast and Furious is a bit funny.
Did you guys have any other majors to throw out for this one?
Mission Impossible was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's not my favorite Mission Impossible.
No,
it was solid.
I would say I went back and watched all the Mission Impossible films from 3 again. Like 1 and 2, they're too aged.
You didn't watch John Wick,
but he did 2?
He did 2, yeah.
I didn't watch the John Wick one, and it was mainly because I started with 3 because it was so I always start with 3 or whatever, and it was like there was no identity to Mission Impossible.
No,
it didn't have its thing.
No.
But then it's followed up by Ghost Protocol, and that's the tower one with the
yeah.
And it was like, oh shit.
That's right, because 3 was JJ. Yeah.
Yeah, JJ is the master of like
repackage.
Yeah, no personality.
And I watched all of them, and I watched Fallout again, and it was just like, oh fuck boy.
That's the one.
Fallout is the best action movie ever made.
It's up there.
It's probably up there.
No, it is.
It's somewhat fire.
But yeah, not the new one. I'm just waiting for that part 2.
Yeah, again, I don't like this trend. It's irritating. But Mission Impossible did at least feel like a full film.
Yeah,
like it does wrap up. Like it is cliffhangery, but
yeah. Well, the whole thing was structured clearly to be like, this is half of it.
Yeah, and it's the same with Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit irritating because I want to go. If I want to watch a TV show, I'm expecting cliffhangers. If I go to watch a movie at the cinema, it's like that's meant to be a package. You know, this. I don't know why this is happening. It's like sequels used to. You didn't lead into a sequel like that. I mean, I guess like Empire Strikes Back did. I mean, maybe it's not.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It is a little bit irritating for so many franchises to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah,
but
it's not like I don't know. You can have a whole conversation about that.
Yeah, let's say that.
Yeah.
It's like a different, like the Harry Potter way of doing it is different from the Hobbit way of doing it, from the Spider-Verse way of doing it, from the new Hunger Games way of doing it, from the fucking Fast and Furious has done it. We none of us saw the one from this year even.
No, because it's crap.
It looks shit, and that does a halfway cliffhanger thing as well.
While we're talking about action movies, John Wick 4 came out as well. Another film I went to the cinema to see. I've seen way more films in the cinema than I thought. It's more like
I like the Donnie Yen stuff. I'm just not the biggest John Wick guy. I know everyone like loves him, but I just find them all too long.
So I watched 3. Like I've seen 1. Never bothered with 2, and I think that's a good thing probably.
Yeah, you can skip 2 really.
I watched 3.
My least favorite one. Yeah.
I watched 3 literally like the day before going to see 4 in the cinema. But yeah, 4 has some nutty scenes, and Donnie Yen, as you said,
goes off.
That's my favorite bit.
So good. I started rewatching it recently, and I was way nicer to it on the second rewatch. It's like, yeah, this isn't as bad as I thought, but it does go on. Hence, I have not finished the rewatch. It's far too long. It's far too long.
Yeah, it's a movie I'd be cool with just being like, Oh, that scene. I just feel like watching that scene.
Yeah.
And then just watching that.
It would have to be, like
bit.
on in the background. It's like, oh, we're at that bit. Let's like pay attention.
Like
Okay, now they're back to
and the bit, the like Hotline Miami.
when
he's
that was very cool.
That was like beyond cool. That was mind blowing. When we got there in the movie, sat in the cinema, it's like shit. Yeah,
that
here we go.
to me is the peak of the film, because then it does the whole stair bit where he goes up the stairs and gets.
I kind of like the stair.
Yeah, the stair bit's funny.
I was frustrated at it, and I was just like, we've got.
I feel like that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I know that's the point, but that just because it is the point doesn't mean you can't.
I feel like that scene shot and even unedited, exactly the same in a shorter version of that movie, where the other action scenes didn't feel as arduous. So there is this one crazy arduous one.
Yeah.
To accentuate.
Yeah.
How much compared to like.
I think it's just indicative of the whole series though, and that scene climbing scene is like, yeah, we get it too. We go
self-awareness,
and it's the point. Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I get that. It's just like I need like a central character's like motivational thrust to be something I can.
Yeah, because when you really think about it, John Wick is like a psycho. he's just an awful man.
Yeah,
because he's Keanu and everyone likes Keanu because we all know how great of a guy Keanu is. Mm-hmm. Then it's just like, yeah,
and like the character has nothing to lose. Like the whole thing is about like he's already lost his wife, and that's why he snaps in the first one, is because of the dog.
Yeah.
And it's like everything, all the drama's kind of already happened to the character. No, it's just
he's just like a demon, just
he's like so powerful.
The whole planet.
Yeah, it's a very video gamey for that.
But 4 has the best set pieces of the whole quadrilogy. The bit in the car when he's like driving around.
That's the thing. It's just like all they need to do is like cut Osaka down a bit. They could have cut the German bit down a little bit, and then at least then the Paris bit would have been a bit more better. Just cutting like.
It's like the whole side quest with the like guy in the.
Yeah, in the nightclub. They've got to have the nightclub there. Yeah, there's a nightclub in all of them.
But the thing is, the nightclub bit starts with the poker game, and that whole scene is fucking insane. And that all 3 of them are playing. They all want to kill John Wick. So it's like that is.
I love that shit, man.
With the dog. Oh.
Yeah, the guy with the dog. Because that was something that blew me away in 3. So I'm really glad they brought a different character in to have a dog. Yeah. It's one dog. It's less dogs.
But yeah, that was the best part of 3 from memory. Yeah.
Like I still think 3 is better because 3 is just special.
Yeah.
And the last film I wanted to shout out was, I think it's called The Seventh Seal. It wasn't from this year. It was just another one of those watch list films that I've just had for ages by Ingmar Bergman. It's Max von Sydow. It was like him when he was young. He's like playing like a knight, and he's like in a chess game against the physical embodiment of death. And it's like this period piece, really cool, weird film.
Is Death a wolf?
No, it's just like a guy dressed up in black. Really good script, really memorable little story. I just love these like 90-minute films as well. I love a 90-minute film, man. I think that's that's something.
It's getting to the point where like if I start watching a film and I see it's 2 hours, I just like give up. Yeah,
it's when it goes over 3 for me, where I'm a bit like, you gotta earn that shit. You gotta earn my investment in this.
I've just not had much time as of late. So when I watch a film, I want like to be able to do that and have other free time. You know?
Yeah, I get you.
Instead of just all my time going to one movie, then going to bed.
So I've only got I want to move to the TV. I was going to suggest we do the TV section mid-break.
Okay.
Music games. I don't have much for TV.
I don't think I have anything for TV.
I don't know if it was just maybe I was missing. Normally my stuff on the Pulse is a bit more. I normally have like a couple things, but the only I watched 2 2023 shows, that being The Last of Us and Ahsoka. The Last of Us, I thought was okay. I've like the whole show to me was kind of like a 7 out of 10 type vibe. It was like solid, one really good standout episode, and that one episode is like completely removed from the game. Like that's the one like completely original episode where like everything is rewritten and changed, and it's like a little like
Bill
side story. Yeah, the Bill episode. Where everything else is like, yep, I'd rather just play the game. I prefer the performances in the game. I prefer the framing of it in the game. I prefer the way the music is used in the game. But I thought it was like fine. That show was a little bit surprised by how popular it is, to be honest. But
yeah, it blew up.
Yeah, not much more to say on that. Ahsoka, just souring more and more the more I'm thinking about it. Just another, I mean, it's just like the superhero discussion. It's just like, yep, you got no respect for your IPs. You were just throwing these random projects out. Just like, yeah, we'll oh Christ, we fucked up Obi-Wan. Oh Christ, we fucked up the sequels. Oh Christ, we fucked up The Mandalorian. Oh Christ, and it's like, it never ends with this shit. It's like, yeah, let's try Ahsoka. The show version of a sequel. Yeah, a sequel to a show that you have to watch, like a Disney Plus cartoons? TV show sequel to 2 different animated shows that only a fraction of the fans have already seen anyway. And like that's like leading the charge. It's just like, it's badly written, it's ugly looking, it's just so it's like paper thin, and it's like, yeah, we're building up the new villain, man. It's we're doing it, man. And they do the classic, he's the smart guy. He's so smart he can predict what everyone's doing, and he's so smart he can even predict when he's gonna lose and just be fine with it. It's like, what? You still lost? Like, what are you? We need to just put the brakes on here, man. Just give us Andor. Forget about everything else. Just shut up. I don't care about Ahsoka in this mess. And like this, the pearl clutching with like just these characters and treating every character as if they're like so important, you know? So why are you treating like the Rebels characters as if they're like so important to all of this? And it's like, well, the more you broaden this stuff out, the lamer you're making everything. Yeah. The fact Ahsoka's even there, like this whole gang of misfits is even in the mix, ruins so much stuff inherently to me. It's like, yeah, you had the whole struggle of like Luke and that whole hero's journey in the original.
Well, yeah, like he was the only Jedi.
Last hope.
Yeah. Yoda was like, you're the last one, dude. And then every bit of like Star Wars content we get is like, oh, there was also this Jedi and this one and this one.
The last one, except like for that guy that escaped Order 66. There was that guy. There's not just the one guy who escaped Order 66. There was like a fucking 100 guys that escaped Order 66,
and they're all doing pretty well. Like they're all fighting.
Some of them like they're able to set up like new apprentices, like the guy from Rebels, and it's like, what the fuck? Like this is all happening. Like Ahsoka's like doing her thing in the background, being a master, being super powerful.
Surely Yoda would have known that shit.
Ahsoka has a fucking apprentice,
of course,
who's also a Mandalorian. Who's it's like actual DeviantArt like parody stuff. Which like the Force-sensitive Mandalorian Jedi who's the apprentice of the one survivor who was also the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker,
aka Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's like, just fucking stop.
Yeah. I don't know why they think like abundance of stuff will make people like what they're doing. Because it does the opposite. You're just like, you're telling me this isn't valuable.
You're diluting it, yeah.
Yeah, you're giving me so much of it. Why I don't need to like...
And you're making it work.
Yeah.
As well. You're not making it like work. You're making it homework to like get through this shit.
And then keep up with what the hell is going on. Like.
And then there's this like hilarious disconnect because the only other thing I had noted down, it wasn't a show from this year, but Jim and I watched the majority of Andor.
Yeah. God damn.
because I think I was saying about Andor last year's wrap up, like trying to communicate about that show. And yeah, rewatching that with you was just another reminder, like a few months ago watching Ahsoka, like the contrast that it's like hilarious. It's like babies mode versus like, it's actually like, you've actually like written something. You've actually got like characters who in a scene can communicate an idea or like switch up a dynamic or just, the things you want to see in a story.
Yeah.
It's like, these are like cool, unexpected characters and like filling spaces in like the world or just these like random jobs and stuff. It's like, that's a cool idea. Like an undercover art salesman. Isn't that like a cool front for like a character in this show?
Yeah. It was something I latched onto watching in the show was like the culture of the home planet of Andor. Where like every morning there's a big bell. There's like a guy that goes up and has this ritual and does it's little shit like that.
Yeah. But it's not just like that. That stuff just doesn't exist in a vacuum just for like, hey, Star Wars dibby in a landscape shot, like introducing a scene or whatever. Yeah, and there is like a little sprinkling of that, but it never goes too crazy. It never goes like Baby Yoda or Jar Jar with it, like trying to obviously sell something. That's actually one of the problems some like hardcore Star Wars people have with Andor is it doesn't have enough of that shit.
Lack of dibbies.
Yeah, or lack of that aliens everywhere going like Utusu, blah, blah, blah.
It's got enough of Utusi.
It's got a little bit of that. Yeah, I like just enough.
Yeah, the perfect dosage, I'd say.
Yeah, but I thought.
I think James would even like it.
Possibly.
Being that you like Rogue One.
Best Star Wars song.
It's very cool.
You'd definitely like it.
Yeah, it feels the most warish. It feels like the Empire's actually this, because a bunch of the characters are Empire like higher ups.
Yeah, they're like undercover or straight up Empire members or people trying to build up rank.
Yeah, and it's this like cutthroat, it's bureaucracy and policing, and
it's less like poppy as well though. It's not like doing the wizards will save the all this kind of shit. It's more just like there's like a ruthless oppressive government, and it's like if we make any mistake, there's like there's a overriding tension to the like the rebel side that actually feels like
every single character,
and every mistake like has consequences, and everything has,
every character is vulnerable,
and everything's like linked, like the way it's kind of like a small crime that sets off this like huge building like narrative that like keeps getting bigger, and these like mini arcs turn into these huge like knock-on events, and that's really cool to me. Like it's being able to track that back, and a cool central character as well. Just completely unexpected really how that came together.
Yeah, and even after, because like Ahsoka was coming out and I was seeing clips and YouTube shorts, I'd watched Obi-Wan and I was like, I'm done. I can't watch Star Wars anymore. With Obi-Wan especially, that it's ruined, done, full stop. And then you were like, nah, but Andor though. And then eventually we sat down, started to watch it. Within like 10 minutes of the first episode, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Like this
I wasn't expecting it to take that short amount of time, because my thing was like, get to episode 6, get to the heist, then I know you'll be in by then.
That inciting incident that you were saying about that like starts his whole trajectory, it was like, oh, like this isn't like lame baby shit.
Kid gloves are off. Yeah
it feels like immediate stakes and investment, and like I already like the character because I remember the actor from the film. And blah, blah,
and the
blah.
villains don't have to be like incompetent for like just things to work and for things to move. Or if they are, there's like reasons for it, or there's like some setup or payoff for it, and then it leads to something else happening. It's like
and every like set and
it looks crazy.
It's crazy how good it looks. Every time they get off a ship, like in classic Star Wars, the actual bridge goes bzzz, and then just like loads of pointless dry ice comes out.
Yeah.
And then they're like walking off the ship, and there's like dirt everywhere, and like or loads of rain.
Yeah.
So you get it. It's not just loads of people running around on green screens with.
It's that's what really makes it stand out when you compare the production to Ahsoka or Mandalorian, where they use this dome thing a hell of a lot more, whereas Andor, they did a lot of location shooting, a lot around London.
You can feel it.
Yeah, and that makes such a difference. Just use sets as much as possible, because it really grounds it, and you especially need that shit when it's as goofy as something like Star Wars, you know. Like you need something that grounds it and makes it like believable, feel like tangible. There's no better way than being on location for that.
Get in the grime.
That's all I want to shout out for TV. If we want to go to mid-break here, then just music and games for the wrap-up. Do you guys have anything else?
Yes.
Nope. Guess we'll see you after these messages.
Bye.
Bye, Bear Bear. Bye, Bear Bear.
I do declare, bye, Bear Bear.
Bear Bear shirts and mug available now. Check the description below.
Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2024.
Part 2.
This is the we just had a break. We've eaten an actual crazy amount of chicken just now. You probably can't tell, but we're full up, we're plumped.
Wait, are we doing the hat thing?
Unintentionally, yeah. To be fair, today my hair's a mess. So
my hair's a mess as well.
No, take it off. Show me your messy hair. What? Okay. Yeah, we've both got messy. Take yours off.
They're all different colours though.
Yeah, I've got. What would you call that?
Brown.
It's not brown. It's like a creamy mist.
I don't know what you'd call it.
Okay, no, we have to do it in different styles.
Okay.
Nice.
Make way for Noddy. Newt.
Ew.
But yeah, this is the second part where we are going to head over and talk about the other forms of media we watched, like games and music. I would love to start this section of the show saying that this year I've really gone in on Drake's discography. I've listened to an album every day because he releases so much shit. You have to do it every day to be able to get through his 15 fucking hour long stupid C fucking. I hate that about music, that it's all about metagaming, you know? That they make albums 15 million times longer than need to because then it takes up more of the top listened songs on Spotify.
Do you reckon that the more something is a product, the less it is art?
Yep. Absolutely. Like a Mustang Mach-E.
How do you even... There's so many variables with that though.
Barbie.
Oh no, shut up.
Get back to that. So with music, I have a lot less than with the movies. Like even with how long we've been going, I don't know. That was like maybe half of the stuff I'd written down. So we need this to end at some point. So moving on to music, for me a lot less 2023 stuff exactly, but this is definitely the music that's kind of overall defined my 2023. From memory, it was like Underworld and that kind of stuff that defined my last year. But I guess did you want to go round again like we did with the movies?
Yeah,
I've got
three.
I've got 3, and the 2 of them are not albums. They're just.
Well, my
artists.
3 are artists. I do have 2 other albums, I could say.
Drake's.
But I think this one will be on at least one of yours. I do want to shout out Michael by Killer Mike.
Mm-hmm. Fire.
That
PK Fire.
That song you sent, I've already forgotten the name of it. The song you sent me, the Andre 3000 one, the one with LP, Those are my standouts. Big fan of those.
I want to particularly shout out Exit 9.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's my favourite I've heard from it.
I think my favourite from the album is Something for Junkies. Fire song. The topic being like a song for the junkies, right? For like meth and coke heads. And it starts off with this like somber ass sound, and then builds up, and as like the story goes along, and like he kind of is explaining where it all began with like drug abuse in America.
Yeah.
And
with the CIA, baby.
Yeah, and calling back to that like heyday of where it was kind of like glamorous before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the song changes into this like just absolute bop. And I've talked about the album multiple times on JAR, so I won't harp on about it, but it's pretty fantastic. I really have enjoyed listening to that album over and over and over again.
I feel like it didn't come out this year because nobody knew it came out, and that is Freddie Gibbs' Triple S.
Triple S Hotel.
Fan-fucking-tastic album. His best album. By such a huge margin, it's a bit of a joke. Fantastic.
You think it's his best?
Absolutely his best.
I don't know.
And I only say that because there's the amount of good songs is like proportionately better than all of his other albums, and it was like a stealthy release because I didn't know it came out until it was like 6 months later.
Yeah, I didn't know it was out until you told me.
Yeah,
but I still haven't gotten around to listen to it. What's better than the one that has the album cover that looks like BoJack Horseman?
That is Bad Dana.
Bandana.
Bad Dana.
Bad Nana.
That one's
I'm
good.
referencing me.
Bad Dana.
I joked. I listened to one song, thought it was shit, and I'd call it Bad Dana and piss everyone off.
Oh, okay.
Which is stupid because that album is really good.
Yeah.
Really good album. But I would say it's better than Bandana.
I preferred Alfredo, to be honest.
Yeah, that one's good as well.
I prefer the one with loads of bass.
Freddie.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, I think it's worth mentioning. Freddie Gibbs he still hits hard. He's so good, and I think it was in my like top 3 albums of the year of albums I've listened to. So that says a lot. I've been on constantly listening to that, and there's a lot to say about Freddie Gibbs' everything, but really good album. It doesn't have that creativity of his previous albums.
Yeah, I didn't have that many songs I felt like saving as individual songs.
Dark-Hearted is one of
my library. Dark-Hearted.
That is like
Dark-Hearted and Too Much, I think, are the only songs I've like saved from the album.
Yeah.
But as a listen, it's pretty fun.
Good album.
Yeah. Well, Spready Gibbs.
Spready Gibbs.
Yeah.
Iconic.
The only other album actually from the year that I can say, with a few caveats, is One Wayne G by Mac DeMarco. This is that 9.5 hour long. Like, I don't know if they're demos or like unused bits, but they just sound like Mac DeMarco songs without his voice in. And even some of them do have him like scatting or like just doing random stuff.
I would say this is
minion shit.
A counterpoint.
A counterpoint to my pick.
No. Of that album is the fact that movies Too Long Bad. This album 9 hours.
No, but like movies Too Long Bad isn't what I'd say though.
Yeah, also
but we critiqued films for being a bit too long.
Yeah, because there are plenty of films that are way too long.
So where does a 9-hour album stand?
Well, you can do other things while listening to music.
No, you can't.
Okay,
We've gone over this.
Discussion, I guess.
It's not like, I think that would be weird to sit down and listen to the 9.5 hour, mostly instrumental Mac DeMarco. But I've said before, and I'll say it again, I like my instrumental music. This is like perfect for my playlist. Wound up. all going in there and beefing it up a fair amount. I mentioned in last year's one that I started getting into King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I did follow this like flowchart thing people were saying about, because they're so prolific in terms of their output. It's very overwhelming, the amount of albums they have going, the different sounds they have going. I'm not really like a heavy metal kind of guy, and they have some albums that lean more metal, some that are more psychedelic and weird craziness. I'm more on the psychedelic kind of side. Mostly rinsing the album Butterfly 3000, I'm in Your Mind Foes, and Quarters. Quarters is cool because it's only got 4 songs. All of the songs are the exact same length, and that's like the premise, a little concept EP, I guess. Each song's like 10 minutes long. They're all like 10 long or something. Cool idea. I connected with that this year. I would also say, as far as a song that kind of defines the whole year for me, Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan. Stumbled across that song at some point this year, sort of like from the 70s or something. That's the whole album, Can't Buy a Thrill, was a really good album, but specifically the song Reeling in the Years, which is on that album. I think I just called it a song, but the song Reeling in the Years on that album, Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan, would probably be a year-defining song for me.
Yeah, that's one hell of a tune.
Yeah, it's so good, man. That guitar riff when it comes in.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's immediately likable.
Yeah, it is a likable and little arrangement, and that chorus is so like earwormy.
Yeah.
And in your kind of boat, bro, I went through a few low raw albums this year, specifically connecting mostly with the one Zero, I think.
Mm-hmm. That is the album that has received the highest praise.
Where it all comes together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's their most full album and probably their most varied as well.
And yeah, there's not, because there were other albums where there are like parts of the album I enjoy, but there are other bits I probably wouldn't revisit, where I can just listen to all of Zero.
Yeah.
And not feeling like sags at any particular point. Particular standout for me is Breathe In. That's probably my favorite song of theirs.
Yeah.
That I've heard so far. Very somber, but
Easy Way Out is another really good one from the album. Almost, dare I say, Linkin Park vibes.
Christ.
No, like the use of drums, because it's never something they've done since. Like in the Phil Collins way with his like most famous song that I'm blanking on right now.
The gorilla one.
The Cadbury's Gorilla. I can feel it coming in the air. Like I can't remember the name of the song.
What is it even called? In the Air Tonight.
In the Air Tonight, yeah. Where it's like this gradual slow build into like these drums that just come out of nowhere, and it's like what even is this? Low raw supposed to be sad and somber, and suddenly you're hitting me with, a little bit of gooby wooby type, But Low Raw is my number one artist of the year. Like I can't deny, and I'm pretty sure I said the same thing last year, but this year especially, looking at Spotify Wrapped, my top 5 songs were all from the same album, which is an album by Low Raw, one that I don't think you've listened to.
No, I haven't yet.
Called Ross. Because I guess since Ryan, the lead singer, died, like I did with David Bowie, I made like slightly more of an effort to actually listen to everything, and for some reason I'd just always missed Ross, and got round to it. And again, it's got some songs on there that are like just out of left field. HAFH, I think it's called, which I think was my number one song of the year, my most listened to song. Is like this happy sort of bouncy. There's still his like.
Hard to make that voice cheery.
Yeah, his voice is just like inherently. There's so much sadness coming from his lungs. Yeah, that band, man. They touch a secret part of...
Secret string.
I have strong opinions about them.
Yeah, I mean...
I think I will only ever like them if I play Death Stranding. I think there'll be no point in my life where I'll need to hear that kind of music. Just because I heard one song today and it was like, man, if I was driving this car, it would be going into a tree right now.
But that song is from a different album.
Obviously, I'm not starting low. What I generally appreciate.
Yeah. You're just saying they sound depressing.
They do.
They do.
And you found them through Death Stranding, so it's like obviously that connection, that vibe is there.
I'd actually heard them before Death Stranding.
Really?
Yeah. Only like a single. But I'd never heard a full album.
But the song we were listening to in the car was Once in a Long, Long While, which is also the name of the album. But it always makes me think of Portal 2, because of the production on it is those like...
yeah.
like...
I get you.
Yeah.
I want to... I've got like 2 more or something. I want to shout out... I've had New Order on my list of stuff to listen to for a while. Because I'm really into... It's like a 2014 album or something they did.
The colourful one.
It's got like these block like colours on it, with Tutti Frutti on it.
That's a crazy...
That's an amazing song. But they're more known for their stuff from like the 80s.
Yeah.
And I've tried again and again with New Order, where I hop onto an album and I just don't connect with the album. But there are loads of like songs they have made that I really like.
Yeah.
Which I wound up kind of mostly enjoying through like a just the best of New Order like type compilation things like they do for the Beatles, Queen or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying going through some of this stuff in that form. I just like that, the 80s electronic kind of sound where they're figuring stuff out. So that was definitely a part of my year. And mentioned Stop Making Sense earlier in the movie section, but I figured I'd save most of it for here. Got back into that album, the deluxe edition version. There's that one song with the weird mixing you mentioned. Did you mention that on a cast? I can't remember. I saw the movie.
I don't know if I did. But yeah,
what song is it again?
It's like
mine.
Is it Slippery
Wheel
People?
Inside a Wheel. Yeah, I can't remember.
It's Slippery People, right?
Yeah, it sounds right. But like changes at the end.
Yeah, there's like a breakdown. Let's break it down. Yeah, so and it's like a big drum hit, and then revisiting the chorus, and then like big drum hits between when he sings. And there's the one big drum hit, and then he sings, and then the next one's like, boom.
Yeah, it sounds like I don't know. There's like no reverb. There's no echo to the sound. It's not carried.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know how that came to be. Because when we watched the movie, it sounded perfect the whole time.
Yeah, you don't notice it in the movie, so that might just be an album version. That's just an issue with the album.
Maybe it will get an update.
Yeah, who knows now? But yeah, the film. What can you even say at this point? Perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't really get much more perfect, to be honest. Absolutely perfect shit, right?
Yeah,
there.
very enjoyable.
Very, very perfect.
Very enjoyable.
It was nice where I was like really obsessed with Talking Heads, I feel like 2017, 2018. And then like as you do, you just like listen to different stuff for a while. It was nice to like, oh yeah, stop making all this, yeah, because I'd seen the movie and stuff, and it's just like revisiting that and having like a good excuse with the new updated stuff
Yeah.
was a real treat for me. And finally, I guess French Exit by TV Go. They did release an album this year. Didn't like it. Saw a couple of... Yeah, I actually saw them live this year as well, which was good.
Yeah, we talked about that on Joe.
I think I did talk
TikTokers.
about that. With the TikTokers, yeah. Yeah, because they're like huge on TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Thought it was worth. Very sample heavy. And that was in my rotation like January, February, mostly this year. And that's most of my stuff for music, unless you guys have anything
I have a lot.
major you want to shout out?
I have one that I think I will share with James.
What?
The Cyberpunk soundtrack.
I want to. That's where I want to speak, but I was going to leave it to last. So it was, this band from this game. Oh, this game's really good. It's my game of the year. But yeah, the Cyberpunk soundtrack is where to begin.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
It's got a little bit of everything. It's got the music for the little heartwarming scenes.
Yeah, the original soundtrack being done by 3 different composers, 2 of which are Witcher composers.
Yeah.
Marcin, their Polish names are really difficult to pronounce.
Yeah, they are.
But they're the
Reed.
2 Richard. They're the CD Projekt Red employed soundtrack. So they're actually part of the team.
Like composers in house.
And then the other person who did a few of the really good ones was he did the soundtrack for Dread.
The film?
Paul Morgan. Yeah, Paul Morgan.
Oh, right. I didn't
Which
know
is
that.
interesting.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it
also
does.
makes sense. Dread. He also did the soundtrack for Warhammer 40k. So the line's there, but the Cyberpunk soundtrack's really good because the original stuff is really so good, but it's all the small artists they got to compose the radio stuff. You've got Grimes in there, you've got Health, you've got these Polish DJs in there, you've got
RTJ.
Polish artists, you've got RTJ. I've gone through a lot, and I think with GTA, and we've all done this, everyone's done this, you find that radio station you like, and you listen to that radio station you like. Cyberpunk, you don't do that. Constantly change station, because there's so many songs there that are so perfect for that world that might not be in the genres you like, but you will find some really gold in there. And I've this year I've listened to a lot of the Cyberpunk composers and the artists that are in that game.
Yeah, it's quite a unique idea to find artists, but not just use their songs, actually have them make songs specific to...
Like in character.
Yeah, making characters.
It's like make a song as if you're a person in Night City.
Yeah.
Or in this this futuristic
Like
world.
fast forward to like,
And but I would think of my biggest artist of the year is Refused, who composed. I don't even think they composed it. They're Samwise. They are Johnny Silverhand's band. I've gone through a really deep and obsessive Refused phase this year. They're most listened artists, and this isn't including Samwise. So it's like Refused was my number 1, Samwise was my number 2. And the albums, the Shape of Punk to Come was one of their really early ones, and it is fucking gorgeous. It's a really good album, and there's a lot. I can't remember any of the songs off my head. But if you do like Samwise, I would definitely check out Refused first album. But then War Music is their 2018 album, which is the song Samwise were taken directly from the album. Same production.
No, okay.
It's just more Samwise.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend that if you listen to Samwise and you're like, fuck, this is so cool. And it's got that energy, and it's just more. And it's definitely been the anger of my year, because it is Samwise is music and Refused is music you get angry about. You get angry at the society about. You just get a bit angsty. So I've definitely channeled that energy this year, and The Infamous Left is a peak of that album on War Music. So I definitely would recommend that. Have you got more?
Awesome.
Or do you want me to keep?
You keep going.
You keep going until you're done.
This year I went deep in 1980s Japanese city pop, and I finally went through Meiko Nakahara's discography. We've all heard her music. It's that popular. and it's been sampled so much that you would know and be like, oh, I know that sample.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to. Fuck. I'm not gonna be able to remember the names of her albums, but I've even gone as far to collect them original copies from Japan, unopened original like cassettes. That's how much.
Oh, is that why you were saying about the tapes?
One of the main reasons is none of her music's on Spotify.
Oh.
None of it is. So you have to listen mainly through YouTube. But 801 801st Street is a very good album, and I've got a copy of that. If you are into, city pop and all the future funk music, Meiko Nakahawa, just go through her discography because it's fantastic. Fantastic. But this year for me has been characterized by just not by albums outside of Refused, but mainly by DJ sets. And I found DJs just performing that have fucked up my world. And it's like every time I go home, I'll just put on a new DJ set, another one.
On YouTube, you mean?
On YouTube. And the main thing with them is that their sets aren't like on Spotify. They're never anywhere. So they're on like a YouTube video and that's it. It's just like going through these. And one of the main ones has been DJ Aya.
How do you spell that?
AYA. And I found her through Hall Berlin. She's got three really good sets on there. And I do want to see her live because her sets are just so fucking good, and I've been obsessed with them. And they've, like, of all the music I've listened to, is probably one of the up there if it was tracked, because I've spent when you're listening to like a 2-hour set 10-20 times a week, it's gonna get it.
That's so quick.
And there's actually one on here that you've listened to as well, which is LTJ Bucum. I suggested
what's the album cover?
Road to Roads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've gone through a bunch. With LTJ Bookham's, a lot of his stuff is on YouTube because he hosted a radio show in the 90s and early 2000s. So you just find these recorded drum and bass sets, and I've gone through hundreds of hours of them, and I've been obsessed. And I think one of the main ones is, and if you're someone who's into drum and bass or you just like it, you should definitely check out his album Logical Progressions very early, and you'll definitely find a way to enjoy drum and bass through that era that he kind of evolved.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's definitely been on repeat constantly, and I talk about him a lot on my Twitter because it's like I love that liquidy, atmospheric drum and bass, or jungle.
It's massive.
I guess I could shout out Aphex Twin as well.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of his stuff this year as well. Very, very weird guy. His music is very
weird music, but it's cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, another one I just kind of put in the work playlist, and if one that's too creepy comes on, I just remove it.
There is quite a few freaky ones of his,
but the ones that hit are very, very good. Let's wrap this up then with the games.
I've not played
my section
many.
looking a little anemic. I definitely didn't play many new games. The only 2023 stuff I played was Spider-Man 2, a little bit of Cyberpunk, what's the DLC? Phantom Liberty, Starfield, and whatever the Destiny 2 content for this year was.
Yeah, do you even want to talk
those
about
are my
Destiny
ones from
2?
this year. I don't need to say anything about Destiny.
In the bin it goes.
Say anything about Starfield?
Starfield is... I don't know. I feel like I've been like gaslit by Starfield.
Oh no. That's not good, bro.
Something about it made me just like want to get in on Starfield. I was like watching a video from it, and I was like feeling I felt no build up, no hype at all for anything to do with it. Like I was pretty like just not paying attention that much. Like zero faith. Didn't play Fallout 4. None of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like the biggest Bethesda guy. I enjoyed my time with Skyrim, but that's all I've really played from them. So yeah, I just get on Starfield and
gooned. Instantly gooned.
Yeah. And not like it was like sweeping me away or whatever, but parts of it were. There was enough about the aesthetic and like the sound design and this like menu design and stuff, mostly in aesthetics, that was getting me. And then it was like more once you're like 20 hours in, then like stuff really starts fitting into place as far as like the issues with the core decisions. Like you just kind of want to look in a direction and walk in Bethesda games. That's like the best thing about them, and you can't do that in Starfield. You just straight up can't do it, and if you try to do it, you just are bored. The environments are lame, and it's just like when Cyberpunk's out the same year, when I bought Fallout 4 for like £3 in a Steam sale and just was playing it on my Steam Deck for a few hours and was like, this loop is stronger than Starfield, and this ain't even great. Like Fallout 4.
It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, why am I playing Fallout 4? I have Cyberpunk and Red Dead Redemption 2. You know, like that. There's no excuse for a world as like boring and flat and like lifeless and characterless as Starfield. Like, there's this. I'll leave it at this with Starfield, right? There's this set piece called the Red Mile. They're like building up. It's this whole like challenge, right? Where they like put the character in the situation where it's like, yeah, we'll help you if you run the Red Mile. It's like, oh shit, what's the Red Mile? Sounds kind of cool. Okay. What's the whole Red Mile all about? And they're like building it up. It's like, yeah, you go down there, you take the lift down, and you do the Red Mile. If you do it, we'll help you. It's like, oh, this is cool, like a little set piece. Nice. Where's this going? You go down the lift, come out and start walking, and like these little like lizard dog things like attack you, and it's like, oh, that was crazy. They were pretty strong. And then 2 more lizard dogs come. And 2 more lizard dogs come. And it's like, oh, so like it's just like 1 million lizard dogs that are just like tanky lizard dogs that just like chase you for like, you're just running like a line. There's like no gameplay really. You just like go in a line, you complete the Red Mile, and then like I was reading on like some forum somewhere, it's like, yeah, I just skipped the Red Mile. Like, if you just don't go in the lift, you can just like use your jetpack and just fly to the end of the Red Mile and just fly back. Like, you don't even need to do it. So, man, half baked. Mile wide, inch deep.
I've never, ever been more uninterested to play a game than Starfield. I look at it and it's like, nah.
Yeah.
You know all the stuff Mass Effect 1 gets wrong? Imagine that as a whole game.
Yeah.
You know, like if it didn't have the world building, if it didn't have the story, if it didn't have like the good character writing, if
it didn't everything else.
So basically one of the worst games ever.
But in saying that, it's like, man, I could see how you could make a Starfield 2 and this be like pretty cool. Like the freedom you could have, the like these ideas, if it was just a bit, if like using your ship and like space combat was actually like kind of fun and you could do stuff, and like the enemy AI actually worked and was like fun to fight.
If the game was good, then it would be really good.
Basically, yeah. Then it's like there's just too many caveats, you know, like you go, like something cool just kind of works out and you go in the room, it's like, oh, this is cool, I know, see there's some enemies in there. And like you're sneaking around with the JARCast sneak that like doesn't really work. They like see you through a wall. There's a guy just like stuck in a room, like with his gun phasing through, like glitching out all over the place. Like audio bugs, like left and right. Like your companion is like, "Hey, do you have a moment to speak?" Like while this is kicking off.
I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that they are addicted, because there's no other way to even think of using that terrible engine that is extremely out of date. They need to move on, and it's like,
I think it's design though. I think it's like just they decided at a certain point to prioritize a breadth of planets over a depth of location, and I think most people would vote for one location with immense depth, a la Skyrim, over thousands with like not a single monument, not a city, not a anything memorable, you know.
Well, I think I've not played it, but I feel like Nakey Jakey just says everything that's like accurate about the game.
Yeah,
I
mean, even before all these videos came out,
you just
word of mouth put me off the game more than anything, and like even people saying what they liked about it, it's like, I'm not looking for that. Yeah. I don't want that.
I feel
so
like
I never picked up.
I feel like they are all. I feel like generally, Bethesda will never make a great game ever again, and that's because they made Skyrim. They can't. They're gonna live in Skyrim shadow.
It does feel like they kind of peaked around then.
Skyrim's a great game.
It's like the right game, the right time, and the competition for that style of game was not as fierce.
Yeah.
Whereas, you got CD Projekt in there now. You got like games like Red Dead in there now.
You got games like Baldur's Gate, different genre, but it's like you're gonna make a medieval game, fantasy game. Come on,
yeah, exactly.
Come on.
And so you got to make. You're making it's their like first new world in like decades, where it's like you got Elder Scrolls, you got Fallout. These are pretty huge IPs. You know, they have like these. They are characterful IPs that have a lot associated with them. But like, what is like the mood board for Starfield outside of the like NASA punk thing? You know.
Yeah, I don't
what's
know,
the character that people are like? Oh,
the cowboy. Adam Jensen.
Why no? But like, even that. All the characters, God, they're fucking annoying. They are like you don't want to be with them. Like I saw in the perk tree, there's a perk that's like, get certain boosts if you're doing stuff by yourself, and I was like, I could be going down that because I don't want these people with me. Because like, that kind of cowboy guy is a little bit cool, but his whole thing is like, I've got my daughter with me, and she's got to go where I go, and it's like a little girl, and it's like.
Lame.
I'm like
going on executing ranges.
I'm like a smuggler, like flying through space. I don't want a little girl here. Like, what the fuck? Why did you do that?
That's really irresponsible.
Yeah, and they're all like super prissy. They're all like C-3PO, like just criticizing your ass, like every decision you make.
Yeah, they're all like holier than thou.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Bethesda like the idea of you actually playing as a shitter. Like New Vegas, that is. You're almost encouraged to be a shitter.
Yeah.
Blast these people, man. Blast.
That's more fun.
Be an asshole.
Or like just hearing about like
prick.
if you're a shitter in Baldur's Gate 3, it like completely changes the whole game, and there's like an entire way.
It's like an actual RPG that best players don't understand like that part.
Yeah, you got to have something, you know, because like just jumping in Red Dead like the last couple weeks just to like explore the map and stuff. Like, the enemies can kill you. There's like a threat to what's going on. There's like a sense of exploration.
You can run into a tree and die.
Yeah, things are like unpredictable. It feels like alive. The wildlife like kind of feels like it belongs in the environment, you know, instead of these like mission maker drag and drop like, hey, it's the spider, bug, dragonfly thing. Yeah.
Everything's always an enemy that you just like, in Bethesda, you just walk backwards and shoot.
Yeah, and I noticed there's, they can't do like feathers or fur, I don't think. Like it's mostly like leathery like lizards and
crusty crabs
and bugs and things like that, because I guess it's less complicated.
The engine doesn't explode if there's like
if there's like hair physics. Yeah, so I thought that was funny.
Interesting.
Like the music, I do like a lot of like the sound design and sound effects and that stuff, but man, kind of missed it for me there. Do you guys have one you want to throw out there?
Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that's a big one I missed off.
I only picked that up late this year.
Yeah.
I've not played it that much. And I love the character. I love the surrounding characters.
What's it called again? Star Wars
Jedi Survivor.
The first one was Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I love the customization options. I like exploring because the rewards, even though they're just cosmetics, which is the excuse for
feels like an actual video game.
Yes, like I like doing it because I like changing my shit up. I like making my lightsaber look a different way, or having a different color, or having a cool beard or a lame beard, or different hairstyles, ponchos and stuff. Where I've been playing on like not normal, but the one up from normal.
Yeah.
And
that's what I played on too.
I don't know if I should change the difficulty because the game isn't like solid. The game's
like
kind of wibbly wobbly.
It's not like a From game. It like depend. You basically have to go like encounter by encounter almost. Like if there's, like if you're fighting something that has some kind of weapon that you can counter, or like you're striking, I found that to be like fine. But when it's like beasts and monsters,
they're not designed very well.
No,
and that was highlighted with Ogdo Bogdo or whatever it's called.
the
big frog or spawn of Ogdo Bogdo.
Yeah.
Which is just like a poorly, awfully designed fight.
Yeah. That's what I would do then. If I came across one of those where it's like, this is just bullshit, I know I'm not even gonna have fun. Turn difficulty down. Fight, put it back up.
The thing is, I ended up walking away from it, and because I put the difficulty down and still, like, one notch, still got wrecked by it. And I was like, oh, so it's not just the difficulty. Am I, like, under-leveled? So I put the difficulty back up and just started doing other stuff. And that's when the cracks began to show in how the game runs.
Yeah, well, that's just an ongoing issue.
Because
it has been since it came out.
I hadn't really had that many problems until suddenly it was just like shitty frame rates, like weird visual glitches every so often, and it's just frustrating because the game looks amazing, but not amazing to the point where I think my PC should be chugging. So it's just kind of frustrating. But
I hear you.
All in all, positive on the game. Like I said, I've not played it that much.
Did you get to the desert planet yet?
Yeah.
You're there. Have you done like the set pieces and stuff there?
Yeah, and you rode the big thing that's...
Oh, those things that look like they're from Dark Crystal.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Yeah, I like all the characters, the dynamics between the different characters.
Yeah.
I guess slight spoiler. It turns out the Jedi from the first game is alive. Cordova? The guy whose like trail you're following. And that was kind of annoying. It's like, oh, there's another Jedi just flying around. Tying back into that problem we were talking about earlier. But yeah, I love just killing stormtroopers with a lightsaber, and sometimes you actually do like cut them in half and shit. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, sound design's good, music's good.
Yeah, animation's good.
Yeah, likable.
Nice game.
Just solid, yeah. Just like a.
Yeah, it does veer on a bit too baby sometimes. With a couple of the little music ditties.
I like that.
And yeah. It's charming, but at the same time,
the whimsy.
It's like, why are you making this game so goddamn hard? You know, it's like really hard, but then like I'm fist bumping my little robot friend when I find a new fucking sock.
Wheelie, feet on six. Yeah, all this shit. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I played that too and did enjoy that.
Yes.
The best game I played this year wasn't from this year, which was Disco Elysium. Yeah, just next level writing. Love that visual style. Love this whole world they created for it. In the first few hours, I was like really confused as to what the setting was, and just like Googled it. And it's like, everything about this is like just completely fictional. It's like all these alternate histories and this like, whoa, like they're really. This ain't just a period piece, like they created a world and fleshed it out, and there's all these like really complex socio-political dynamics going on, and you're just like dropped in the middle of
different races and
there's like these like race riots going on, and you're like stuck in the middle of it and have to use dialogue to try and figure out your way through it, and you can become like a race realist. You can become it's like it's crazy, and the psychological stuff it explores is like just so clever. And something that can only really be explored and achieved in a video game. And it's kind of the thing that makes me most intrigued about Baldur's Gate, because I know it's like the also kind of based around the D&D dice rolling stats type gameplay.
Based around is.
Well, Disco Elysium.
Oh, Disco Elysium. Is
Yeah,
based
yeah.
on, but Baldur's Gate is just that.
Yeah, like all dice rolls and everything. And that, yeah, just that freedom of like the dialogue and interaction. So if it's anything like that, which I think it is, I might have to bite the bullet on that at some point, because that did win Game of the Year, and everyone comes up talking about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get around to it, but I need to.
And like that BioWare link and everything, it's just too like.
BioWare.
Yeah.
Link.
Well, like
to...
that used to be there.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Oh.
Yeah. Honestly, more of like a disappointment to me was Spider-Man 2. Like, it's recent. It was only in like the last couple months or whatever.
Mm.
It's not leaving like an impression like that first one did
Mm.
to me. But yeah, I've had no inkling to want to play that again, or
That's a bit of a
just
shame.
disappointed by that story mostly, you know. There are like multiple points in that first game where I was like, oh, I really like this choice or this set piece or whatever. There are just less of those to pick from. I think just mostly because of those characters they chose to focus on, and some of the writing just being a little bit all over the place. Yeah, because I got a Steam Deck. Now I'm like, we had a question in the thread like last week that was on about, oh, where's your like primary platform where you like play stuff now? And it had been the last few years like a split between a little bit on Steam, mostly on like Series X or whatever, because that's where my library traditionally has been.
Yeah.
But in getting a Steam Deck, now I'm just more like, oh yeah, I'll buy Prey, I'll buy Death Stranding. Outer Wilds is like £3 today. Let's just get that and put it on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I feel like I'm fully in on that. Like I have like the notifications on every time there's a Steam sale. I've got like the Steam app with all my like wish list. I'm getting like, there's 3 things on sale right now I'm tempted by. But I just, yeah, I don't know how you control that.
Yeah, that's the risk when you get into PC gaming, and that's why my backlog has become so large, because once I buy it, I feel obliged to play it. So then it sits in my backlog like catalog. Which I did take a game off this year.
Really?
Just a few weeks ago, Hitman 3, I finally finished. And what a cracking trilogy, the World of Assassinations trilogy. And like the developers went on a journey with the game, because I can't remember if it was after the first one or the second one, after the game was out, like the full game was out, they left Square Enix.
Yeah, Square Enix allowed them to keep the IP though, which is the big weird thing about it.
Yeah, I guess they bought the IP off of them. And thank God they did. Like
they went in on it. Isn't there some kind of like they like built a new mode or something semi-recently?
Roguelike.
Yeah, they've done like a roguelike mode.
It's supposed to be really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not tried it yet because I wanted to finish the main story first. And there's not much I can say that I don't like about the game. Like, even the story as it concluded, like, it's definitely got issues, but I just find it so likable. And the character of Agent 47, not like he's getting loads of character work, but, like, he's this stoic, emotionless guy, but through you playing as him, like, you can dress up as a pink flamingo. Like,
yeah, you can just embody
use that outfit to assassinate like some world leader. And the way they mess around with the gameplay in 4 especially, because I played back through starting at 1, going all the way through to 3 and finishing it over the course of the whole year. And yeah, the ways they mix up the gameplay in 3 is just unbelievable. Like, they truly have this one of the most versatile sandbox frameworks for a game ever created.
They basically did what the MCC tried to do, but like actually pulled off.
Yeah,
but even more so because they're all in like the same engine now, aren't they? Like they're all
in one game.
Yeah.
So like you
but there's not like a huge like graphical difference when you're playing 1 to 3 or whatever.
Some people reckon that some graphical stuff was lost from
that often happens with remaster or engine
like,
switches. Yeah.
Everything's being slightly adjusted when they specifically design stuff to work within the previous engine or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So if you change lighting, it can like expose shit. But I didn't notice anything like that. It's not like I walk around in games looking at the shrubbery or whatever. Yeah, I think it's a game where like it's like a desert island game. You know, it's so versatile as far as single player games go. Like you can play it and kind of have infinite fun. Because towards the end of Hitman 3, like I kind of methodically want to get like the best score and stuff and want to be ultra stealthy.
Yeah.
But then on one of the last levels, I was like, you know, I'm just gonna try like John Wicking this one. So just walking around with like a silenced pistol, just like bop, 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 headshot, and like fighting dudes and stuff. And it was just as fun as sneaking through. Like it's
a mark of a good game, man. Good game design.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
Absolutely love it.
It's not 007.
Well, yeah, they lean in hard in one of the last levels of Hitman 3.
No, but it is going to be Hitman 007.
Yeah.
They've got the license, haven't they? Now?
Yeah. They're making a 007 game.
I think my prediction is just that it's going to be Hitman, but a bit more linear, with the whole spy thing, instead of Hitman. But they're definitely going to use that formula of Hitman. It makes so much sense too.
Yeah. I mean, 007 doesn't work in the framework of a video game as well as Hitman.
No.
Because Hitman was designed to be. So I don't know quite how they're going to do it, but you see their inspirations in Hitman 3 in particular.
So I think they'll definitely do some magic with the 07 license.
Mm-hmm.
The Hitman character is quite an underrated like
icon.
Icon.
But I feel like he's completely unadaptable.
To what?
I don't think you can adapt him from a video game. Because
that's what I'm saying. He's perfect for a video game.
He is perfect for a video game. I think you could make a movie, and I think that's why there's been like 2 or 3 attempts. They're terrible. Awful.
That David Fincher movie, The Killer, is basically a Hitman movie.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And it's like it's just got to have this particular tone that.
It's stupid.
IOI has, they've always managed to strike. It's like the most grandiose, high stakes.
Gears
like,
of War.
No. Yeah, but all the characters take it so seriously, and the voice actor of Agent 47 is so goddamn badass. And I didn't realize that Square Enix tried to kick him out for Hitman Absolution.
Really?
The one before the reboot, and the fans got so upset that they allowed him to come back and voice Hitman, which thank fuck. Like I can't imagine anyone else voicing.
It's crazy when they do that. Like even for like Metal Gear, what they did.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
Bullshit.
Keith Sutherland, like what the fuck? What a weird decision.
Yeah, that was a Kojima thing, I think. Hitman fucking rocks. 10 out of 10 straight up.
Well, Cyberpunk, I think we talked about before, and I don't think it was this year for the most part that I played it, but Cyberpunk is just fucking 10 out of 10, 2.0.
I'm enjoying it. I played like a good chunk, maybe like 20 hours.
I think you played it wrong as well.
I haven't played it wrong.
I don't think you can play it wrong. Like that's kind of the point.
Alex is like so far in the story, but has played less than me. That's the crazy thing.
But I mean, I find with Cyberpunk the story for quite a while, in the way the characters, like if you're role playing as V, you're gonna want to like do the stuff ASAP.
The urgent things because he's dying.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole basis. So
I'm like that's a video game.
Yeah. On my latest playthrough, I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go chill with some.
I'm still unsure how much like. Does it do Witcher stuff with like choices? Does it like are there big branching?
It does matter because
things?
you lock off endings basically.
There are
That's
different
mainly
endings.
the main thing. Yeah.
There are different endings. It's not like Baldur's Gate where you're gonna have a radically different thing. It's
Just variations.
and it's variations with like relationships with characters.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like you can
Yeah.
turn people off you. Or,
But I think that game, and I think we've said it before, that game's world is like one of the best ever. I've said that a lot. I say those words a lot, but it is. That game is so immersive because it's like the music,
and it's more immersive now because in the latest update, the subway works.
Yeah, it's like small details like that, and I don't play that game because I love it that much, and if I play it, I have to stop playing it at some point. That's why it's the best game in the world to me.
There's quite a lot of content now. I think.
There's a lot of
It
content.
sounds like heaps because I kept getting like overwhelmed by how much there was, and
To be fair, that's your own fault.
how's that my fault?
Because you
Like, you open the map and
didn't do
there's,
any
like,
of
a
the side
million
quests. Yeah, you never did anything but the main quest.
But like I never felt when I was playing it that like it was the here you are, like I was just playing like what it was telling me to do.
Well, it
has
manages
that, to
it
be
quite
fair.
differently. Where like some dude will just call you up and be like, "Hey, I got your number. I hear you get shit done. Do you want to do this thing?" And some of those are the best quests in the game.
Yeah, I didn't even realize I was doing the main shit. I thought I didn't even know what I was doing, to be honest.
I think you could probably do with redoing the game again.
But then I just feel like I'm getting stuck in I don't know what it is with the CD Projekt games where like they don't gel with me in the way they seem to gel with everyone else.
Well, I mean, I don't think James is right.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep playing. Like,
I think you need to like handbrake.
I'm more overwhelmed by the actual like visual like I don't have like seizures or anything, but I feel like I'm about to have a seizure
on the verge
when I'm like playing the game.
You're going cyber psycho, bro.
Yeah. But that's also the coolest thing about it is the like cyber psycho stuff and like the modifying your body. That was more what was getting me into it. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I'm liking this to a certain degree. But it was when I got like this mod for my legs and I'm like double jumping.
Yeah,
then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, hold up, this is cool. That's a cool system.
Yeah, there's some awesome mods in the game. You can turn your arm into like a rocket launcher.
Yeah, no, that's the one. That's the one from Edge Runners.
Yeah, well,
Those
they're
mains.
like all in.
Yeah, they're all there as well.
So like when you're at the Ripper Doctor and stuff, that's cool as fuck.
It's so
that's
fucking
awesome. And like all the UI, like it's so like flashy with like all the stuff it's doing. With that stuff, which does help with the immersion, as James was saying.
Yeah, it's an immersive game, and weirdly, it's kind of disgusting how well it runs on my PC. It runs at solid 70 on medium settings.
And I'm
Mm.
objectively playing the best version of the game.
Now that they've finished updating it, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Even the base game would be better in my version. Like the cops will work properly. Like all the systems will actually work.
Yeah.
It has a wanted level now. I like it.
Yeah, I wish I'd never
How weird
played
is
it
that?
until then. Until that update.
Because I remember bringing up Cyberpunk the year it came out on one of these wrap-up episodes saying, yeah, I just refunded it because it was so fucking shit.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Yeah. No, but I remember
It
saying
looks
then
so ugly.
there's something about this game that's very like special, unique. I love the dialogue, the way dialogue functions.
The characters are all just that good as well.
But like the way
I think the like diegetic way it's all like so like natural in the world.
you
just
like
walk
press
up
a
to
button
someone.
and then you're like leaning on a car while you're like talking to them and they're like working.
I've never seen a game do it to that degree ever.
Nothing else has
I just
come
like
close.
the Panem one. It's when you first Panem mission, she's doing the drug deal, and you have the choice: get a gun out, open the door, and you can just see your guns resting there. And it's like, man, I'm fucking cool as fuck playing this as V.
Yeah,
and the game's full of that. And it's so good.
Isn't there like vehicle combat and stuff?
Yeah, there is.
That wasn't in it originally.
James modded it in, I think.
Really?
I've never played the game vanilla. Well, games defining games, Armored Core 6.
Yep. Surprised it
You
didn't.
finally finished a FromSoft game.
My
you did.
first, and that. Obviously, it was like, it's a mech game. Of course, James is going to have a bit of a. I love mechs. I love big things. I love big machines. But that game, it definitely beat me. It made me work for like.
That's the whole point, man.
I got to Balteus, like everyone did, and I couldn't beat him. And I tried, but every time I was like, no, I'm gonna beat him, and that's what I did. And I kept going back, and then as soon as I beat him, it was like, I get it, I get Dark Souls now, I understand. And like, Armored Core is not Dark Souls. It's not to the same level as Dark Souls.
It's far easier.
But I get the core is there. That DNA is there.
Yeah, the like, I don't know, the goop.
No, it's sadism. That's all it is.
Yeah.
There's no.
It's more like endurance, I would say.
Yeah, but sadism.
Just
But I feel like the
propping it
sadism
up.
thing is like so like overly exaggerated.
Yeah, it's
Because it is fair. It's always fair though.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's like the whole FromSoft thing.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, it's mostly fair. Sometimes they are just a little bit bullshit, but like they're never. It's never impossible. It's never. The odds are never in it.
Armored Core, silky smooth gameplay. Just like it's so
Yeah.
smooth. And the way the builds when you can go for like, because I stuck with tetrapods and they're way more aerial maneuverability, heavier, bit chunkier on damage. And then this time I do my New Game Plus as a super lightweight build, and it's a whole new experience. I'm having so much more fun because it's like I'm so fucking dodging everywhere and doing
and
blade
bouncing
attack.
around
Yeah,
and-
and I've been like doing boss fights where I felt even more intense because I'm way more vulnerable. I've got to be way more better with my maneuverability. It's got me. Like I've been meaning to like finish my New Game Plus so I can do New Game Plus Plus. And that's the main thing. It's like you don't play this game for 20 hours and do the story. The best content is New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus. I've had the best fights in New Game Plus because they're like, oh, that mech that kind of fucked you up? Have 3 more of them at the same time. It's like, fuck, come on then. Let's fucking go. The soundtrack as well is, like, I was going to mention it on music, but the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Yeah.
By the From Software team, like in board sound team, there's a lot of songs in there that they make you fight harder in the game. Contact with You, Rusted Pride.
Yeah.
Where you hear it and you're like getting emotional because you just want to have an anime ass boss fight.
And it is so anime.
It's so
But it never goes cringy with it.
no.
The character Rusty is like he's plucked from some anime. I don't know which, but he is
some Gundam.
Aloy.
yeah. Rusty.
Oh.
Rusted Aloy.
And I love like I've watched a lot of videos on like the references, a lot of the names in the game because they're all names from different like eras of history and different languages. There's so many small details that you really do pick up on when you start to look into it more.
Yeah, a lot of love went into that game.
A lot of love. And it's like the whole being able to change your mech. Because it's not Dark Souls. It's not a case of you've got to perfect this fight to beat the boss in your build. Armored Core's like, your build shit, make a new one.
Yeah.
And that's how you beat a boss.
Always change.
Always change.
If you die, change.
Yeah. And I learned that, and now I'm having a lot more fun just always experimenting. And they're adding more content now. So there's definitely like a lot of future for that game. But it's just like the details and the fact the world is horribly depressing. It's the whole thing is.
But also strangely hopeful.
It's strangely hopeful. Yeah, that's whole like Aya. Her whole point is like the hopefulness and the humanity aspect of a dehumanized mech. But it's definitely been my top game. Like I listen to the soundtrack every day. I have a lot of love for it. It's been
FUN.
FUM.
FUN. Fun.
Yeah, fun game. Would also like to mention it's a fresh game, but it's definitely fucked my brain up. And that's 40k Rogue Trader. So a CRPG.
Why has it fucked your brain?
Because it's Warhammer. And I'm like, ooh, the lore details. The little chunks of lore knowledge. Because I'm a Warhammer dork. I consume a lot of Warhammer stuff because I've been fucking dick. You could just drink out my glass. But I'm a big Warhammer fan, and I've got the models that I'm painting. I've watched every lore video I can find. I've got the lore books, you know. I love that world, and from the little bit I've dipped in with that game, it's like they get it. There's so much lore shit here I love, and it's fucking miserable to play to people because it's a CRPG. They're just uncomfortable. But it's like when I was like 2-3 hours into one mission, it was like, when does it fucking end for one mission? And it is just it's a game you goon on, and I'm greatly glad that as a Warhammer fan I can goon on it.
What is the gameplay? Like
top down on RPG, and it's like turn based. It's XCOM.
Right.
The combat is XCOM.
Yeah.
And it's quite difficult. It's fucked me up a lot. But it's like a CRPG, so all your small choices, the dialogue, it's Baldur's Gate, but just not as good as Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
But having big fun of that, I definitely think I could sink a lot of time into it. But you know, it's been out like 2-3 weeks, so new release. And on the subject of Warhammer, Darktide is now an actual somewhat functional game, and I've played a lot of it this year. We've played a lot of it this year, as well as Vermintide.
Yeah.
It's promising, but it needs more.
It's fun moment to moment, but once you start seeing the same shit over and over again, you start getting a little sussy.
I think the main thing about Darktide is that they went for this almost RNG like mission of just you do this mission, you do this one, while Vermintide has 3 acts that is like 4 curated levels with a boss fight.
Yeah,
and that's more rewarding because you can be doing as different characters, and then they're just very better. And Vermintide, the more I don't play it, the more I miss it.
Yeah.
And this game's been out decades now. Not decades, years. But I have a lot of love for Vermintide. I want Darktide to be on that level. But it's definitely been... They're 2 games that have defined my year because I'm always thinking about them.
Yeah. It fits into your Warhammer.
My goon.
Plop.
Yeah. But that's mainly what I've been doing with games.
I have one more game that's kind of like my game of the year.
So,
not from this year, but just a revitalized love of Battlefield 1.
Baby,
on a whim just went. I bought it right on a sale.
It was in a sale because I bought it at the same time
recently.
It was like £5 for all the DLC.
Yeah.
And it says a lot that, you know, we're in an era where there's all these new games, like FPS is coming out, you know, COD's out, Battlefield 2042. It's like, they're all so bad that on a whim you play an old Battlefield and it's just like, but where the fuck did they get wrong, man?
How did they make this game? Yeah. That's what I don't get. Like, the stuff that will happen just in a moment-to-moment basis, like, above you there's a giant airship, like, shooting down at you, and there's planes fighting in the sky. You're hiding in a building and someone like throws TNT and starts crumbling the building, so you're running out the building, you gotta like gun some dudes down,
and then you got gun a dude down with a bolt action where you got one shot, and if you fuck up you're dead.
And then the airship starts crashing because your team's done enough damage and it like lands on the buildings and fucking blows them up, and it's blown up, and like it's just chaos. And like it's a game where I don't it doesn't always annoy me when like I'm having a bad game, because you're just having these insane. Yeah, you're in awe of just the shit that is going on.
Yeah.
The core upgrade they made from Battlefield 4 to that is a masterpiece. It's so clean, but it works with this, you know, World War I setting where it's just like there's not all these iron sights, there's not all these sights and mag attachments. It's just like there's a gun.
It's so much simpler.
It's simple, and I play it and it's like I get sad because it's like, man, this is just like
they don't do them like this.
They don't do them,
anymore.
but at the same time, it's like the soundtrack is so fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, the soundtrack's
like
ridiculous.
This really emotional, like singing after your side has just been beaten. It's just like, man, I'm just thinking of actually people in trenches, like horrific. And that first level, where it's like trying to make a point of the death of World War One. That is like an art piece.
The pointlessness of it. Yeah.
It does so much justice to like explaining in a very real way what World War One was and the horrific death as part of it. And I do think they could have done that. They could have done it so much better by actually like humanizing the Germans. So you didn't do it.
Yeah,
I
don't know why they
because it had that vignette approach, didn't it? Well,
it wasn't
a campaign
like
as much
different
as
characters.
Yeah, different vignettes.
And in this,
there's not a single German.
No, because in this first level, it's just like you're just 4 Americans that get killed. But if you're fighting and your guy dies, and at the same time you swap to a person who's just seen your guy die, it does a lot more to sell the point of that it was a horrific war on all sides.
Maybe if you became the guy that
killed,
just killed you.
Like
cool.
you know, I'm criticizing. It's still a great little piece, but you know, could have done more. But that game is very good, and I have a love for it. And I didn't realize at the time that it was special. I really didn't.
Yeah,
but it's a special game.
Yeah, and it makes me understand why Titanfall 2 didn't have a chance. You know, like you can jump into Battlefield 1 and have fun.
Yeah,
like the dudes playing Titanfall 2, they're on some shit, man.
Adderall, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Is the player base lively? Like you can find games?
Yeah, there's this one server that we always go to, and it's always full. You got to wait for your slot.
All right, okay.
Like sure, the maps are shit.
So, yeah. But some of the maps are trashy.
And weirdly enough, we play this one server, and we've been spotted multiple times by Jarlings. In this server,
so Jarlings clearly have taste. And
there's just like weirdly somehow I just have the most like recognizable name because it's my website, it's my company, and they're like, "Oh, is that James from Jar?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck," because someone's getting shotgunned by me in a match, and just like, "Fuck, is that James?" It's weird that we never get spotted on games, but we go back to play a really old first-person shooter from years ago, and it's like we get spotted multiple times a day.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit funny.
Yeah, a bit nice.
But yeah, cracking game.
Great game.
I'd recommend getting it if you enjoyed it back in the day. I'd recommend buying it now. And jumping on because like you're only going to boost the player numbers.
Yeah.
More people playing, the better.
Well, guys, I think we did it.
I think we did do it.
Fuck me.
Big
just
chunky
over 3
one.
hours.
Always saying they want a long one, and here's a nice long one for your holiday break. Thanks for listening and for another year.
Another year.
Yeah, I'll probably take the questions from the suggestion thread that was up for this one. I've already collected them. But I'll hold those, combine them with the question thread.
We can do a whole question.
Next week, and probably, just do a catch-up question one.
Yeah,
next.
That sounds a plan.
Yeah. So we're doing this a bit early.
A plan.
It's January 1st when you're hearing this. But also, we haven't had Christmas yet as of recording it, so if we didn't mention anything that happened that was crazy on January...
Yeah, don't say that.
Or December 29th.
No, bro, we're starting the year with Jeffrey Epstein's client list. Bro, it's fucking gonna go nuts. Next year's gonna be like 150 people just dying every week. There's just loads of people dying.
Started strong. Who'd be crazy to be on that list?
If 15 people requested through the American courts to have their name removed, and the court's like, nah, fuck you. But
Good.
3 people did. And they've been taken off of it. So who
these must be very powerful.
I'm thinking Bezos. Bezos. If Bezos got outed on the Jeffrey Epstein's list, I don't think anything would happen to him. Like, he's that powerful.
I mean, there are already people
Epstein,
that are on the list.
Huh?
Like fucking Chris Tucker, or whatever the fuck his name. Like,
who's Chris Tucker?
You know the.
Do you think
he did all those movies with Jackie Chan? We watched one.
Oh yeah, the Rush Hour guy.
Yeah, Rush Hour.
Like, this is the thing. It's like a lot of them have been announced through the flight logs, like fines.
But do you think being on that list means they're a pedo?
Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely.
I don't think necessarily every single one of them is, but I'm sure that there are examples of them on it.
Well, no, because this is like the Prince Andrew thing. That she was like 16, and there was this whole like age like debate over it, but. This is clients list. So these are people who've paid for his services of child exploitation. So I would imagine they are pedophiles. Hence why they're trying to get their names removed from it, because they know they're...
I don't know. I haven't read the article, so I don't know the...
But it's going to be what? Who...
Is this actually happening then?
Yes. The American government have been like, we're releasing these now. It's coming out in January.
Fucking about time.
Taking long enough.
It's bullshit though if people are getting their names taken off of it.
Well, oh no, only 3 people did. 13 tried to, and the government were like, nah, you're not.
The Queen. The King.
So you can't even make the royal joke there because there's Prince Andrew.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but who do you think?
It's like infamous one.
Who do you think? Yeah. Who do you think's going to be on this list? What celebrity do you think?
Kanye.
But the thing is, like,
No,
there's nothing a celebrity can do that surprises me as far as like
evil
and degradation.
Yeah.
It's going to be some big movie actors for sure.
Brad Pitt.
There's going to be a lot of politicians there. Let's be real.
What if Russell Brand's on there?
Yeah, loads of like just money people and
money people. But there's probably going to be like a few
politicians.
Yeah, that's what I said. Politicians.
Which?
Is Ryan Reynolds on there?
I don't think he'll be on it.
The
Rock. Yeah.
No, The Rock wouldn't.
Kevin Hart.
The Rock doesn't have time to. He's in the gym.
He's got. There's a gym on Epstein's Island. There's probably multiple.
Yeah, it's bound to be
underground.
Mr. Beast.
Sheesh.
The important man.
He was fucking born on Epstein's Island. It's funny, he went missing the same day Epstein went missing.
He was last seen in Paris with his wife.
Sheesh. Yeah.